Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another episode of The Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is having major problems. Ever seem a little too close? I think it's a little too close. All right, give me 1 second. I don't know what the hell's happening there. There we go. I was like, the podcast last night. So first story is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is having major problems. We're going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3 defies the laws of physics by being a single-player RPG with more daily users in 2024 than its release year. Okay. Then we're going to talk about Minecraft theme park coming from a company behind Legoland. And then we're also going to watch Stalker 2 game review from SkillUp. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We cover news stories, conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We also do a podcast on Wednesday nights. We usually, if it's not a podcast, we're doing Shooting the Shit with Sarge on Wednesdays. There is no Shooting the Shit with Sarge tonight. There is a podcast of chatting with. Last night, we had Drunk 3PO on. So if you guys missed that, go check that out. It was a good conversation. At least I thought it was a good conversation with Drunk 3PO about, from not having a YouTube channel to raising up 7 different YouTube channels and also publishing his own book or creating his own book and publishing with Rippaverse Send. So go check that out if you haven't seen that. But tonight we have Greg Owen back on the show. So Greg Owen's coming back on the show to talk to him, catch up with him, talk about gaming topics and news, sort of like the Video Game Awards show, what Xbox is doing with their new advertisement and what they're doing in the future. We'll have a little conversation tonight. So come out tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern for some conversation chatting with Greg Owen for his second return on the show. What's going on, chat? What's going on, Eclipse? Dustin, Sarge, Akuta Papa, Big Mo, Robert Jones, Kylo Green. Good morning. Super Dave, good morning. Yeah, let me tell you. So, members, I did a video yesterday for just members because I got to do 2 membership streams. We did a member stream yesterday for Flight Sim. I played about an hour and a half of just like trying to get my license or whatnot. There was a lot of problems with it. You'll hear me say it. There was a problem with the audio for some reason. The audio I could hear, but it apparently didn't get recorded. So it's a weird video. So I apologize for that, but still interesting to watch, so make sure you go check that out. Let's go on X Factor. Morning, Haley. So let's get to. Oh, can we talk before we even get to Microsoft Flight Sim? We're going to talk about Microsoft Flight Sim, but not about the story. Let me tell you something. Remember, I was telling you how excited my 10-year-old son for the last 2.5, 3 months he's been nonstop talking about Microsoft Flight Sim, right? And here I am, jaded, very curmudgeon old man that says, oh, these games are never done complete. They're broke, buggy, and unfinished when they come out. My son has none of that. Super excited. He can't wait. He can't wait to play this game. He was so excited. I pick him up from school, and I said, hey, buddy. I hate to tell you that you're not going to be able to play the game. And remember I told you when I was joking with him, he was like, stop, don't joke like that. He's like, stop it. I'm like, no, I'm being serious with you. I was like, you're not going to be able to play the game when you get home. He's like, why? I said, because the servers are down. And he's like, what? What does that mean? And I'm like, well, I was like, think of a pool of water trying to get emptied through a straw. I was like, that's what's happening with the servers right now. So many people are trying to get in that it's crashing the servers and nobody can get in. And if you can get in, I was like, it's a buggy mess. And he was just like, it's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna do it anyway. I was like, all right, cool. So he got up and he waited. And he waited. And he waited. And he waited. And while he was waiting, he was bitching the entire time, going, why did they do this? Why did they release a game where they can't? Why did they do it all at once? Why didn't they do where they release it hour by hour throughout the? I'm like, I don't know. And we let him stay up a little later to 8:30. He's like, can I get in? And at 8:30, he finally got in, and then it crashed on him. He says, I'm going to get up early tomorrow, and then I'll play it then. I was like, okay, right? I'm trying. I'm trying to be as positive as possible for my son because I don't want to, chip off the old block type of thing. And then this morning, he got up at 5:40 in the morning, logs in. He got in right away. And then he played it. He didn't get to fly. He was just walking around, testing, checking things out. He wanted to walk around the game. And he said, Dad, I couldn't enjoy it this morning. And I said, why? What's wrong? He said, it is so buggy. And so, he's like, why did they release it like this? And I went, I don't know, son. And this is my problem with the video game industry. You have just shat on a 10-year-old's dream of playing, and all he wanted to do was play a flight sim game. That's all he wanted to do was play a flight sim game. He was building up this excitement for 3 months, okay? And he gets one moment to play the game, and it's fucking broke. I mean, broke. Glitches. He couldn't get into the plane. It froze. It crashed the game, right? And I at that moment this morning, I just wanted to be like, well, that's how it is, son. Like what I'm doing right now, right? I wanted to just be like, this is how it is. Get used to it, right? But that's not what I did. I was just like, it's okay, buddy. I was like, maybe they'll fix it. I was like, give it a couple days. I was like, this weekend it'll be good, right? They literally crushed a 10-year-old's dream because they try to rush a game out. Whatever it is, okay? And it's not just Flight Simulator. It's every effing game that comes out in 2024. Server issues, falling through maps, incomplete games. It's so frustrating. And now it's even more frustrating that you did this to a 10-year-old kid, okay? It's such a fucking dystopian. And I know all of us as adults were like, oh no, this is the greatest gaming and everything. The goddamn game doesn't work. It's glitchy. The planes look blocky. It looks worse. Okay, it looks worse than Flight Sim back from 2000. It's infuriating. Robert Jones says, shit, I'm sad for him. Yeah, it's frustrating, Jones. And I don't want to. I don't want my son to be like I am right now. I don't. I'm trying to be such a positive person when it comes to looking through the world through my son's eyes. And boy, is it fucking hard. Right? Waterbear says, let little 30 know, hey, the gaming industry will shit on more of your dreams before you actually find one that works. Yeah. Let me tell you, kid. Let me tell you. Wait. Krebsy got this. I didn't upload it yesterday. I didn't upload it yesterday, but this is basically it right here. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Is it? This is it right here. This is the conversation I have to have with my son. That's it. That right there encapsulates exactly. Well, son, let me tell you about the video game industry. Let me tell you about the video game industry. Grab your apple juice, pull up a chair, let good old dad tell you how the video game industry wants to bend you over. Oh, let me explain what bend you over means. The second clip in here is that the continuation of this clip, Krebsy, where I didn't listen to it. We'll have to look at it later. It's so frustrating, man. Altart says, back in my day, I didn't have server issues because there was no servers. Hilly says, sounds like the lad needs some DayZ jank. It's part of his charm. I'll have him play a Bethesda game, Hilly. It's just, I'm more frustrated now about me getting screwed over. What is this? What am I looking at here, Dustin? I know I'm looking at a picture, but are you showing me that it works or doesn't work? Let me see if I can find you some pictures. Hold on. Let me see if they have it in this. Does he have some pictures here? No, they don't have there's pictures going around of what's happening. There's people that all they see is just blocky messes. Like, it's terrible. Except the good with the bad, but mostly the bad. Yeah. Hilly says no. Bethesda crushes your soul, not your dreams. Got it. Now, here's the thing. I'm not really upset because we didn't pay for the game, right? I didn't spend $70. I didn't spend $100. I didn't spend $120 for like the premium edition. It's on Game Pass. But that is not that is not the solution, right? The solution of, well, I didn't pay for it, so it's okay, it's broke, right? What's going on, Argus? This is exactly why I don't want to buy games day one. This is why I preach don't buy games day one. Don't play them day one. There's so many games that we could play. You have a back catalog of games that you haven't touched, okay, from years ago, let alone last year, that you can enjoy a game that's actually working today. Sarge says, 10-year-old is an age where you're aware of games that are out and are struck by the cool factor. It was magical time. It just sucks that you just can't be left alone and have a magic moment. Yeah. You could see it this morning. He went from yesterday from I can't wait to play to this morning going, yeah, it's got a couple problems. Like, you can see like he's justifying it to himself. Like, what a disappointment. What a disappointment. Then he's asking me on the way to school, you think they'll fix it? You think they'll fix it before Thanksgiving? Because he's off next week, right? They're off from school next week. That's all he wanted to do was play Fight Slim. So hopefully it's fixed. Oh, absolutely. Water. Absolutely. But just like I said, right? Even that I believe that I said last year, 6 to 7 years, that's going to be the majority, right? The majority is going to be streaming games, right? Doesn't mean it's a thing that I want to happen. That's what's going to happen. And it doesn't matter if it works or not, because the industry is going that direction, regardless if we want to go or not. They're pushing it that direction. Right? And for the rest of you have little ones that want to play video games. It's devastating. Look, I haven't had the talk yet with the kid about, Santa Claus. Okay. But that's it. You're crushing dreams. You're crushing dreams. All they want to do is just play games. And every time they play a game, now jankiness is fine, right? Like if your car, you're playing a game, it's working, and all of a sudden a glitch happens every once in a while, it's funny, right? But when your whole game is just day one, is just first impressions are everything, man. Right? And then this is the first step, because the next game that comes out that he plays and it does the same thing, that's strike 2. Then the next game that comes out, that's strike 3. And then it's like, it's just down the spiral. It's just like, that's just how games are. That's just the way it is. It's frustrating. All right. Let's start off. Billy says, I remember buying Diablo as a kid, which took a while as I was age restricted. Managed to get a copy and then ran poorly. I worked another 2 months and saved up for new RAM upgrade and ran amazing. Right? The problem is that sounds like it ran poorly because of your system, right? Not because of the game. Right? So you had to get more stuff, which is fine, right? Because you could fix the problem. You can't fix this problem. You have to wait for this problem to be fixed. Yep, Krebsy. Yeah. Oh, did you see the new stuff that came out yesterday for Minecraft? The Minecraft stuff they're doing behind the scenes and whatnot? Kids having a rough year. Light sim problems and Minecraft movie trailer. Being an ass, yeah. So this is growing up. He turned 10 and now reality's setting in. Sarge says, no toy stores, broken video games, can't ride a bike without a suit of armor on. It's just a shit show for kids. Hilly says, my kids moan for buffering. Yes, the game was fine at launch. Yeah, that's a difference, right? I'm okay if like the system can't run. You're like, oh, it's running stuttery. Well, how do I fix this? Well, I need more RAM. Right, you can fix it. But when the game is like that on the console and you're like, well, that's just it. So frustrating. All right. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We just talk about gaming stories, entertainment stories. Have a good time here. So I appreciate you. All right. Yeah, Jason says no Saturday morning cartoons either. Yeah, it's like, what's happening? Do they just want to beat our children down and make sure by the time they're up of age, they're just like miserable people, right? Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is having major problems. Okay, major problems. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 has experienced major issues in the game shortly after servers went live, including very long load times, instability, and issues frustrated the community in hours following the game's launch. But Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 developers are working on fixes to these issues. Now, the developer of Azobo Studios, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is the latest iteration in the Microsoft Simulation series in Xbox Series X and S and PC. It's available now as a day one title with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC. Players can take on a variety of missions in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 and the real world scenarios, including aerial firefighters. Okay. After receiving several user reports, the official Twitter account for Microsoft Flight Sim support team confirmed that many users are attempting to play the sim game at once, resulting in numerous server requests. Now, is this supposed to be our fault? Is that's the way it feels like they're saying here? It's like, well, everyone's just trying to get on. It's just too many people trying to play your game. Imagine. The dense server traffic causes players to experience long initial load times on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, along with the technical issues like missing aircrafts and game crashes. Users on Twitter are reporting loading times as short as 30 minutes. I'm sorry, loading times as short as 30 minutes? That's not short. Okay? And in some cases, the wait time may exceed 2 hours. In addition, some users are also reporting high GPU utilization on loading screens in the PC versions of Microsoft Flight Sim, which causes high GPU temperatures that could prove to be unsustainable during long play sessions. The support team recommends rebooting the game, and initial loads is past 90% and no longer processing as the team works to resolve issues as soon as possible. Okay. They come out and say, we are aware of users' reports long initial load times of Flight Simulator 2024. With so many users initializing the sim, currently we are having a large number of server requests. Okay. Launch day issues include long load times, login issues due to heavy server traffic. PC gamers are also experiencing heavy GPU utilization on load screens. Now, the community's response to these technical issues appears to be mostly negative, since many players are unable to even log into Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. The situation has led to the Steam version receiving an overwhelmingly negative review rating as the player base shares their thoughts in user review sections. Others are wondering how these issues were possible in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, since Microsoft manages the leading Azure cloud computing and server platform. However, a few players on social media are not surprised by the launch day issues, noting that 2020 Microsoft Flight Sim faced similar server problems. Right. This is experience of people going, yeah, what's the deal? Like, I told my son ahead of time, right? I told him ahead of time. I said, I was like, don't get so excited, bud, right? Even though I want him to be excited because he's a kid, he should be excited. I was like, maybe you should play something else, trying to ease him into it. Nope, full steam. Okay. November 2024, Xbox Game Pass lineup seamlessly started worrying trend for brands of issues affecting Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 don't help. Either at the very least, Microsoft Azobo Studio history with Microsoft Flight Simulator shows that this year's iteration will be supported with updates and fixes over the long term, and player feedback will continue to be crucial of making Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 better, more stable in the weeks to come. That is not good enough. I'm sorry. You in 2024, fuck that. 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, doesn't matter what fucking year it comes out. Your game should come out and it should work. Period. There's no defending. Well, it's this and it's that. No. You made a game, you sold a game, and that game should work day one. Okay? None of this, oh, we'll fix it this week and next week. We're working hard. It's a hard thing to do. I don't care. People do not care. We give you money for whatever product. Again, I don't care if you're buying a mouse, a television set, a TV screen, or a computer screen, a car, food, a video game. I want the product to work because I gave you the money. How about this? How about I don't give you any money? You give it to me, and I pay what I think it's worth. How about that? You think they'll ever do that? You think they'll ever give you an opportunity to pay what you think it's worth? I don't think that'll happen. Okay? I don't think that'll happen. Games need to work day one. I don't care if it's on the server. I didn't make that problem. You put it on the server. You put it online. You made it multiplayer. You made it co-op. You made it on the server. You made it on the cloud. Whatever. That's your problem. My problem is I gave you money and it doesn't work. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. $30 minutes, nah, bro. My launch time is shorter than that. Like 30 minutes is not a short time. Is there a soundbite or something that's playing when I switch screens? I feel like there's something. Yeah, there is, right? What is that? Wait a minute. I think there is the face palm. The face palm is making noise somewhere. Which is weird. Every time I go back to this scene, it plays. But it's not on. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Now I want to see if it fixes it. I don't know. I don't know why it's doing it. I don't know why it's doing it. There's nothing on. I don't know why it's doing it. That's fantastic. Every time we do that. Wait a minute, what's this? No? Yeah, well, we have to keep it because I can't fix it. I bet you I have to like reset my whole thing to fix it. Sounds like a splash every time it switches. Yeah, it's weird. Robert Jones says mainstream wouldn't let you pay what you want, but some smaller companies do that, and it's kind of amazing. There was a couple of artists back in the day. Was it Metallica or U2? Like where they gave you the art, they gave you the disc, or they gave you the album, and then you paid for what you want, like what you thought it was worth. Didn't Metallica or someone do that? Hilly says, I would find it really I would find it difficult to put a dollar value on Battlefield 2042. I really would. It's like, I paid Battlefield 2042 at launch. I think they owe me $10. Yeah, I think EA should subscribe to me. I think they should pay me $10 a month to play it. XO30 wants chat. One of the main selling point to me is the current gen was near instant load times. 30 minutes is 30 minutes is short, according to the article. That's right. It's just part of the theme, Jones. 30's broken, buggy YouTube stream. That's right. That's right. Gabby says, I generally give games 3 days to fix their shit, but do note down games being broke at launch. Or, yeah, do note down games being broken at launch. Radiohead did it? I thought Metallica did it as well. Yeah, just send EA an invoice. Can you imagine that? I'm suing EA for every day that it didn't work, right? $1 a day until they got it fixed. Okay, so EA owes me, what, it's been out for 2.5 years? So they owe me like $600, $720. Come on, gaming. So ridiculous, man. Robert Jones says, don't buy day one and don't play some multiplayer games day one. Yep, I'm telling you. Watch how fast the industry switches when they put a game out and no one buys it that day. I want to see if there's screenshots of what's happening. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like someone was flying through a city and every single building was just like a broken pixel. It was like one giant broken pixel. The whole city. It was absolute. I was like, what is happening? And my son's just laughing. He's like, why would they release this? And I'm like, oh, they're just stupid. Krabby says, speaking of suing, someone out of Florida is suing Netflix for the issues during Paul versus Tyson. They should. They should. You pay for a product and you don't get it. right? It's not just in video games, Krebsy, right? It's across everything now. It's absurd. It's just absurd. Everyone's okay with it. They're like, they'll fix it. They'll get it later. It's not a big deal. Up, $140. Let's go get that next game. Krebsy says, I've stopped day one, but the failure is trickled down. Before now, they fixed them over time. Now I'm not sure if they've even bothered to fix that, fix or / finish. Well, if they make all the money up front, Hilly, they won't. They don't have to make it. The only reason Star Wars Outlaws is getting fixed is because it didn't make the money. And if you think it's not the reason, that is 1,000% the reason. They didn't make the money, and they're like, what do we do? Well, I guess we have to finish the game now. So think about this for a second. When they tell you the budget was this, they're like, oh, it cost $150 million to make the game. That's a lie, because the game's not finished. It was $150 million up to the point it released, and then they have to keep supporting it after the fact, okay? And because they didn't make the money off the actual pre-order sales and the day one sales, now they actually have to fix the game, and now they're trying to make the money back. Eclipse says, man, I hope Avowed and Fable come out in good condition. They're not. They're not, Eclipse. They're not going to do it. Microsoft is not putting faith in me on the releases, and what it was last good one was Starfield. And Starfield was buggy, but not as buggy as the other Bethesda games that came out, right? Krebsy says, I've seen an issue during a career mode, and the NPC is just a red mannequin holding a sign that says error. Yeah, fantastic. Mo says, Flight Sim ran perfect or no problems at all.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you,
we don't care.
Jerry.
Mo, I don't give a shit if it worked great for you. It didn't work at all for everybody else on the fucking world. Okay? I don't give a shit if it worked for you. Articles and apologies. Okay? Apologies. Right here.
Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. For those of you who don't know or recognize me, I'm Jane. I'm the Senior Community Manager for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I have with me Jorg Newman, Head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and Sebastian Block, CEO of Asobo Studio, here to share an update on how launch day is tracking. Jorg, I'll kick it off to you so you can give us an update.
Thank you, Jane. Hi, everyone. We have been so excited for this day and to finally share Microsoft Flight Simulator with you.
We're so excited that the game came out today. Sorry, no one can play it except Mo.
We are really proud and what we've accomplished with the sim, with all of our partners, Microsoft, Asobo, and iBuild, Hype, all these other teams that have contributed to this. I think we feel like we've done something really great for the hobby, but unfortunately, the excitement, we knew the excitement was high for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024.
Fantastic.
But frankly, we completely underestimated how high, and it really has overwhelmed our infrastructure.
Did you underestimate how high, considering the one that came out in 2020 had the same issue?
So, Seb, can you explain a little bit what's going on?
Sure. So we've been struggling for a few hours with one of our services. So on Flight Sim 2024, there's a few new systems in the sim. People have maybe noticed there's, career mode, there's all sorts of missions. And when players at the very beginning, when they start, they are receiving basically, they're asking a server for some data. And that server is going to catch it in a database. It's a very big database, and there's a cache, and that cache is currently getting saturated. So it's a cache that has been thoroughly tested in the
Here's the thing that Sebastian's saying. Blah, 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 blah. This might as well be the Peanut teacher, okay, from Peanuts, because I don't give a shit why it's not working. I just want it to work. I just want it to work. Call me entitled, call me whatever you want. Fucking game needs to work on day one.
Tell you right now.
Apology.
We don't care.
Let me tell you,
Apology. We don't care. We don't care. Stalker 2 better deliver or else? Or else what, Ron? Or else what? You're going to wait for the next game to come out that won't work? Krebsy says, hashtag build it and they will come. Yeah, they'll come and then leave it disappointed. Hashtag baby bird syndrome. Hashtag boot up ass season. Hashtag no accountability. Hashtag walk-in advertisement. Hashtag Western gaming sucks. Hashtag Asian caring 2024. So frustrating. All right, moving on from that. Let's see if this one talks about it in a... No, that one doesn't talk. The power of Game Pass. It's the best deal in gaming that you're just like, it's $20 and it doesn't matter if the games are broke or buggy. Like, look, it is a great value. But at the same time, I don't care if it's $20 or $60 or $120. You pay for something, you want it to work. If it doesn't work, that's your fucking problem. It shouldn't be my fucking problem. All right, next story. Next story is Baldur's Gate 3 defies the laws of physics by being a single-player RPG with more daily users in 2024 than the release year. Okay, if you guys like what we do here, we just cover news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right? So Baldur's Gate, remember, they told you, the outlets told you, you can't expect Baldur's Gate 3 type of quality. Okay? Baldur's Gate 3, pound for pound, is one of the more daily users in 2024 than in 2023, which feels a little bit like setting a coin spinning, going on a holiday for the week, and then coming back and only find that it's whirling away on your table. Okay? That's as per Michael Dowse, Larian Studios director and publishing. He says, who revealed some numbers on X today. According to him, Baldur's Gate 3 had 3% more daily peak concurrence, okay, 20% more daily active users, and 61% bump in daily Steam Deck users in the second year of its release. This is a staggering, quite frankly, because Baldur's Gate 3 is not technically a game that's also meant to be played for so long. You might see that it's kind of a year-on-year growth on of a live service game or MMORPG. After new expansion pack releases, but Larian's Natural 20 doesn't have a whiff of any of that. Okay, it's objectively a game that's just meant to be played for 100 or something hours, eluded for love, but put down for occasional revisits. And I feel like Kronk, the Emperor's new groove, staring at graphic and going, well, yeah, you got me. All the accounts, it doesn't make sense. Dowse theorizes that they basically, due to the recent mod support, adding those numbers are kind of deep insight you'll expect out of the head of a publishing such as mods are good, and mods are very good. He's not wrong. Okay. He says, while I agree that the assessment, it should be pointed out that Baldur's Gate 3's official mod support only arrived in September of this year, and I'm sure another boon of the honor mode, and also which released a late 2023, but had players, myself include, going back for more playthroughs into play early 2024 and bragging rights over the golden dice. Okay, there's also a statistical explanation. Technically, Dallas is measuring half of the year of 2023 compared to almost a full year of 2024. Well, of course, it came out. Didn't it come out in like August or September last year? So, like, obviously, there's going to be more numbers there. But anyway, Baldur's Gate 3 came out in August last year and steadily climbed to cloud early access hype. On the other hand, it released over 875,000 players on Steam, a number that wouldn't dip below 200,000 until the end of the year. Now, honestly, maybe I'm just trying too hard to explain this natural forces. Baldur's Gate 3 feels like a gigantic milestone, an evolution of CRPGs, of also perfect formula when pushed and just a little further. As a result, it's got a ton of different endings and a story that's also been slowly polished to a mirror shine with things like a new epilogue, evil endings, hooking players back in. It's 100+ hours of long RPG, sure, but you might go in the second breakfast for an epic fantasy, especially when there's not too much competition scratching the same choice based itch. Right? Look, mods or no mods, games that are good, like, get through the fan base, right? They're like, man, you got to play this game. This game is fantastic. Like, not someone defending a game going, oh, I'm having, not to say like Mo, right? Because I know Mo said he was trolling before, right? But a person that says, well, I'm having fun, that doesn't expand the game naturally. That's someone that says a game is good because they're having fun, and then someone picks it up and is like, what are they talking about? Baldur's Gate is beloved by so many people. I'm not even included in this. I bought the game, okay? I played it for 11 and a half hours, haven't put any more time into it, but the 11 and a half hours I had, I thought was great. I just didn't have the time to put into a game like that, and I've had other games, and meanwhile, I'm putting in fucking 50 hours in for Brighter Shores, but I haven't gone back to play Baldur's Gate, right? Like, but you could, the smell test, right? The smell test. When you play a game, you're like, this game is good. You can feel it, okay? Like, you can feel that the game is good. You can see that the game is good. It's talked about because it's good. And that's why you make a game and you sell a game and not do what Star Wars Outlaws is doing, or Battlefield, or what Cyberpunk did, or what No Man's Sky did, or what Fallout did, or whatever other game that's out there, what Microsoft Flight Sim is going to be doing. You make a game, you sell a game, and then miraculously, I know, it's crazy, people buy your game and they enjoy your game and they keep playing your game. If a game is working and 10 other games are not working, guess what? The people that are playing the game that's not broke, buggy, and unfinished, that's what they're going to play. I know, it's crazy. These are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe if you like what I do here. Check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. What do you guys think, chat? What do you guys think of Baldur's Gate 3? Now, it's funny. I know Water Bear and myself, he bought the game, returned the game, bought the game back, put 11 hours in. I bought the game, played 11 and a half hours, haven't touched the game. Sarge, I think he said he has 15 hours. There you go, right? It's a fantastic game, but it's like, why aren't we playing? But it's still a good game. It's a game that you would like to own because in this day and age, it's like a fucking unicorn, right? It's a unicorn. It actually works. It actually works. Sarge says it makes perfect sense, bro. People wait to buy a game on sale, and this game is long, so it takes longer to finish, and people spread the time. It's games out. Well, here's the thing. This game is still full price. Okay, I guess you can get a couple of sales here and there, but it's still full price. You still can get the collector's edition. They're not trying to sell you on anything else. There's no microtransaction. The game's phenomenal. The storytelling's phenomenal. The gameplay's phenomenal. Waterbear says, is Metaphor better than Baldur's Gate 3 for those that played it, or are they both on even ground? I don't know anything about Metaphor. Personally myself. Lily says, Baldur's Gate 3 has replayability built in. Every playthrough is different. Eclipse says, Baldur's Gate 3 is better, but Metaphor is right behind that. But you also really can't compare them. Roic says, Baldur's Gate 3 is fantastic. Have over 100 hours in it. This is actually the first flight sim in history to be this badly talked about. Ain't that crazy shit? Mo, I don't know if you're saying that they're doing like an Xbox tax or something like that, right? The game is literally like eating itself. It's like eating itself. That's how bad it is. I went to go. I didn't do this for the member stream, but after I got done with the member stream where I was just doing the training and whatnot, I went to go do the gate activity. There's like a game mode inside the thing where you compete against other planes and you go through gates. It was so bad that I flew through the first gate. It froze, locked up, but you could hear the sound still going, and then all of a sudden you heard me like crash into the ground or crash into a mountain or crash into whatever, and then it would come back and then I'd be dead, and then it would start over, and then it would do the exact same thing over and over, and I was like, what is happening? Kyle says, I technically bought it on sale for 5% off, but it too have only put in about 15 hours in the game. Didn't get to attach to it. Not a huge fan of turn-based combat, but, it's a good game. Sarge says, describe metaphor to me. I got to buy the physical edition of Baldur's Gate 3. We bought it for Sarge. It sits on his computer. Looks great there. Yeah. It looks great there. What's going on, PS5? It's way better than the last flight sim when you played it on Xbox. It's way better. I don't know if it's way better. Maybe when the game works, I'll let you know if it's way better. I'm saying that this is a really fucked up one. This is one because it's the first one I've ever heard of being talked about this badly. Well, no, the 2020 when it came out, it also had server issues when it came out. You would think they would learn their lesson. I think this is worse than that one, though. When I was watching your gameplay, I was like, how does it look this bad? It looked way worse than the one that came out a couple years ago. Yeah, it was very glitchy, stuttery. The graphics wouldn't pop in. It just wouldn't pop in. It was bad. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Oh, the box is great, Sarge. It's like a $70, $80 game that we got you, but all the stuff that comes with it, it's totally worth it. They fixed that, Amy. Last thing I remember them saying, they fixed it. I want to say about a month after the game came out. It feels more optimized. It worked yesterday morning for me. Which one? PS5, the Microsoft Flight Sim? Argus says there are variables to turn-based, though. It's not always as simple as back and forth. There's actions that you can take to affect the amount of turns and things in some ways. Mo says, to be honest, in 2021, I didn't have problems with it when I tried it, and when it did crash into the mountains a lot, but that was the operator error. No, this one was literally like it would freeze. You had no control. You did nothing. The screen froze, but the sound would continue. Like it was still flying, and then all of a sudden it would crash. You were streaming? No. So I downloaded with the 11.8, played it off. I wasn't doing cloud gaming when I played it. And when I played it, it was right after stream yesterday. So I did a member stream, and I put that up on the for members only to look at. It was stuttery. It was bad. It wasn't smooth in any way, shape, or form. Lots of glitches, lots of bugs. You're on Series S. My son tried to get on yesterday from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 9 o'clock at night. He never got in. He was in a queue the entire time. I need that on a shirt. It worked for me. Maybe I'll try Metaphor. Maybe I'll try Metaphor like I did for the flight sim, and maybe we'll do that for like my other member stream. I'll just upload gameplay of a game that I haven't tried. The Roadkill says the portal is awesome now. Well, technically, no, it's in beta right now, Roadkill, as far as the actual what your phone could do when you play your PlayStation games through your phone, where now you can actually play your games on certain games for the beta. I read that article. Yeah, it's in beta. So once it's out of beta and it's actually out, then we'll see. Because it even says in the article that because of beta, we'll see what it actually does when it comes out, if they continue it or not. Eclipse says I could do that with my phone. Can do now. Awesome. That's worth my $200 right now. Right. You could already do what the PS Portal is doing now, a year and a half after it came out, on your phone. Metaphor has a nice demo to try first. Oh, I don't have to. It's on Game Pass, right? Isn't Metaphor on Game Pass? So like the whole game's there. So that's like a demo. Right? Isn't Metaphor on Game Pass? Metaphor is not on Game Pass? I thought it was. Well, maybe it was just an advertisement I saw on the Xbox then. Discount with Game Pass. Is that what it was? Only buggy games on Game Pass. Not yet, Jones. Not for everybody. It's for only certain people. You can like sign up for it. You have to have the PlayStation Premium. You also have to, I think you have to sign up for it, and then it's in a beta program. So it's not out for everybody. Oh, that's what it was. It's a discount. That's what it is. I thought it was on Game Pass. It's a discount for me. You know how it has those what's it called? So maybe I'll check out the beta then. You know when it says like for you and it says discount? That's what I thought it was. The demo keeps your progress, so if you want to try it out, that's the best way to do it. All right, cool. I'll take B and Eclipse's and Mo's advice, and we'll download the demo. Soccer 2 is a huge download, 142.70 on the Series S. That was faster CPU than my PlayStation 5. 142 gigs. Wow. Let me bring up, because speaking of Stalker 2, let's we're gonna bring up Skill Up's review. Where is it? This is 31 minutes. All right. I don't think there's going to be spoilers because he usually doesn't do spoilers, and if he does do spoilers, he usually says, "Hey, we're spoiler section." So we're gonna watch Stalker 2 for Skillup's review. PS5 Blow says Stalker 2 tonight. I'm not playing Stalker 2, and tonight we have a podcast chatting with Greg Owen. So no games tonight. Nah, there's no spoilers? Okay, cool.
Soars RTX 40 series GPUs, delivering industry-leading performance and unmatched visuals in games like Alan Wake 2, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, and yes, even Stalker 2. Stick around to the end of the video to learn more about how Nvidia's cutting-edge hardware will transform the way you play. When reviewing a video game, context always matters, but I think it especially matters in the case of Stalker 2. GSC Game Worlds is a Ukrainian studio that had been through literal hell while making this game. During Stalker 2's development, Russia invaded Ukraine, forcing some of the studio to relocate to the Czech Republic, but some of them still remain in Kyiv. Imagine getting anything done while your homeland was being invaded, let alone making an ambitious AAA open-world RPG. That to me is astonishing, and I've definitely kept that in mind while playing this game and writing this review, and I think it's good for all of us to keep that in mind while we consider the current state of Stalker 2. Because the reality is, the game is not finished. It's just not, and I'm going to detail that.
That doesn't start off very good. I understand the preemptive thing that he just said. I understand that. Okay. But let's be honest. 99.9% of people that buy games and play games don't know who the developer is. Doesn't know what's happening behind the scenes. Did you know Hello Games, their office got flooded when they were making No Man's Sky? Does that matter for a lot of people? No. No, it doesn't matter. Right? So when his review comes out and says, "Oh, it's not done yet," now again, I'm just taking off of face value what he says. Day one patch fixes a lot of the issues. I'm just saying, game comes out. We just talked about Microsoft Flight Sim. Okay.
For you here in this review, it's why I'm not recommending the game, but do note the title of this video. Right now, I cannot recommend Stalker 2, but one day I fully expect that I'll be able to, and I really do look forward to that day. Right now though, Stalker 2 is a cacophony of poor performance, game-breaking bugs, and underbaked systems that utterly ruin what I expect will one
Right now, I cannot recommend Stalker 2. Okay, I just want
be a very compelling experience. I'm about 25 hours into what the developers say is a 40-hour playthrough, and I honestly just can't play any more of it because it's too broken, and the entire time I'm just frustrated because I'm like, if this just worked, it would be sick, but it doesn't work, and that frustration just builds.
Krabsy, that's absolutely right. Right? This might be harsh, but it's not the gamer's problem. It's exactly right. It's not the problem. To me, it doesn't matter if the person making the game is in bankruptcy and they had problems and they have issues at home and none of that is my concern. None of that's my concern. All I want is the game working. I'm not judging a game going, well, they did have this problem. I'll deduct them this, but you know what? I'm going to give them a shot. I don't care. I don't care. I just want to play a game. That might sound harsh.
Built to the point where I had to say, okay, that's enough. Mark my words, I want to return to this one day because there is absolutely something here. It's very lean, it's simple, it's Spartan, almost shaved back to the bone at times. But there's a thing about being a dude with a gun wandering around a big wasteland where everything wants to kill you. Fallout is built on that shit. The wasteland wanderer fantasy is very alluring, and there are times, multiple times in fact, when Stalker 2 absolutely nails it. When the storm front rolls in, when the anomalies in the zone are breathing down your neck, when you chance upon a rival group of stalkers aiming to shake you down, when you really scour a location and find a new weapon or armor upgrade that just feels like a total game changer. Stalker 2 can deliver these moments, and while there's a lot of dead space and boredom between these moments, those moments will be enough to carry this experience for the type of player who really loves this fantasy. But even when it's firing on all cylinders, Stalker 2 is not going to be for everyone. It is a very grueling, laborious, deliberately frustrating experience that is designed to test your endurance. It is very often not fun, because it's not meant to be. It's meant to immerse you in that arduous, dangerous, high-stakes stalker life, which is just as much about trudging 3 kilometers through the boring, empty darkness as it is fighting mutants and looting anomalous artifacts. I'll put it this way, imagine Fallout without the training wheels. Imagine all of its AAA convenience and progression and hand-holding sanded back so that all that's left is you and the wasteland and the lessons you learn along the way. If that kind of idea appeals to you, then I think you're going to like Stalker 2, but I strongly recommend against playing it now because it's just not finished. And right now will be the worst possible way.
And that should be taken, like, much farther than what he's saying, okay? You might like the game, but don't play it now because you're not playing the best thing now. And that's the biggest thing. It's not about don't support the devs, don't play the game now. You're having a worse experience now, okay, than you would when it's finished, when it's fixed, when it's out. So go enjoy something that's done. Go enjoy something that's finished. Don't enjoy something that's janky, broken, buggy, and then you're like, they'll fix it. I had fun. You would have better time if the game actually worked for you.
Way to experience what I expect will one day be a pretty great video game.
Rebsy, I said it. I said it when it was delayed multiple times. I forget. I would have to go back and look at which one I said. Even when it comes out, it's still not going to be finished.
The zone reveals a whole new world.
Let's start with performance and bugs, since that's
So everything's fixed, PS5. Everything's fixed. The patch after the review, though, so everything's fixed in the game. Perfect game.
going to be the deal breaker for a lot.
Nope, no problems with the game. Everything they released to the reviewers is all good now.
Of people. So first of all, I cannot boot this game on one of my PCs. Whenever I try to do so, it simply crashes every time I try to compile shaders. I've heard from some reviewers that they've had the same problem, but they were able to troubleshoot it somehow. I wasn't able to do that, and so yeah, I still can't boot it on that other PC. Thankfully, I have more than one PC, and I was able to get it working on an RTX 4090 i9 13900K, 64GB of RAM. So I booted this up at 4K max settings, DLSS and FSR off. I just wanted to see how it natively rendered, and it was horrendous. Right from the jump, it's like 40 FPS, but like a really bad 40 FPS that just looks incredibly laggy and inconsistent. Pushing through with this for a little more, I was able to sit at around 40 to 50 FPS, but yeah, it was not what I would consider playable. I then turned down some of the settings and I enabled DLSS, setting it to performance. And at that point, I was able to get around 60 FPS, but it really fluctuated a lot. Like in internal spaces, it can sometimes just totally tank and drop down to like 50 FPS, but outside, when you're rolling around through the wilderness, it can go as high as like 80. It's way, way worse in towns though. When you arrive at the various settlements throughout the game, the FPS can crater to like 30 to 40. It's honestly crazy. But it's also not the whole story though, because these FPS numbers are kind of a lie. Like yeah, you can often sit around 60 FPS, but the consistency of those frames is abysmal. And so the game feels terrible to play. Like it says 60 FPS, but it kind of feels like 40 FPS. And when it says 30 FPS, it really means like 20, you know? DLSS 3 frame generation is available here, and it definitely does improve baseline frame rate, significantly so in fact. You do get more consistency, absolutely, but it doesn't solve the issue of that sluggish feeling. Even when NVIDIA Reflex is enabled, the fact
you can see it when he's moving. There's something's off about it.
His performance is just terrible, and keep in mind that I'm playing on literally the
I'm not a frames per second snob, you know what I mean?
best consumer level PC hardware that money can buy, and I'm running DLSS at performance. I really shudder to imagine how this will run on lower end machines, and my advice to you is that if you are picking this up on PC, be sure to make use of Steam's refund policy if you can't get the game running well enough for you. It's a shame that it runs so badly, because at times Stalker 2 is a pretty incredible looking video game, combining environment design, lighting, weather effects, and the
Can you imagine, just for a second, can you imagine, like, my son, obviously he's not going to be playing Stalker 2, but he's like, I'm playing Flight Sim, it's not working, broken, buggy, unfinished, right? Having a bad time. Dad, I want to play another game. And he goes and gets the next game. And it happens to be Stalker 2. Just like, what is happening? It's like, oh no, this game's bad. Let me go play the other game. Oh, this this game's bad. Let me go to the next game. Oh, this game's bad. Like, I would be like, fuck this. I'm done gaming. I'm going to go knit. I'm going to pick up knitting.
Mysterious anomalies peppered throughout the zone, Stalker 2 could have an almost arresting beauty that will stop you in your tracks. But just as often, the game's beauty is utterly poleaxed by various visual glitches. I mean, this is what it regularly looks like when you're just walking through the wilderness. Do you see how much popping is going on? How the textures seem to warp before your very eyes based on your distance to them? This happens all the time. The game's lighting is unfortunately really busted. It's trying to do a lot, but it rarely gets it right. Moving from internal to external spaces is...
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure you'll have fun. I'm sure you'll have fun.
Good example. Here's what often happens when you do that. Reflections are equally busted. Here, a car parked inside is reflecting the light outside, even though that's not possible in this context. And here, you can see how much difficulty the engine has trying to reflect the sunlight on the glass in this outdoor setting. Internal light sources seem really off, and I can't tell when this is intentional or not. Like here, it's clearly unintentional. Here, there's plenty of sunlight filtering into the room through the windows, and there's a light right here that's turned on, like facing the guy. I've seen this area properly lit, and I've seen it when it looks like this, and here it's clearly busted.
Oh, my favorite customer.
Other times, the use of darkness feels like it might be intentional, but it's so oppressive that I just can't imagine that this is what GSC were aiming for. Like here, I'm in a firefight with these...
Altered says, but you know what is not buggy? A finish and runs well? That's right, kids. A book. Go read a book. And then Robert Jones says, now that I'm reading kids' books, I'm seeing a lot of reused assets.
Dude's inside a warehouse, and I'm outside, and I just can't see shit. This happens all the time, by the way. I'm basically blind firing into the dark because there is no light source inside. And yeah, it's like realistic, I guess, but it's also really shitty to play. By the way, you've no doubt noticed a sort of static effect on a bunch of footage while I've been talking. We'll get to that later, but yes, this is an intended visual effect that occurs whenever you have radiation poisoning. No, you cannot turn it off in the UI menu, and yes, it made me want to claw my eyes out. More on that later, though. Back to the bugs.
It might not be a joke, but it was just good timing. Yeah, Altered said good. Perfect timing.
In addition to those engine-based visual glitches are a number of asset-based glitches, like NPCs and objects just floating in midair.
That's fine. It's Bethesda jank, right? I'm okay with stuff like this, right? If this happens every once in a while, I can look past that stuff. That doesn't break my immersion or experience with the bigger picture of a game. Okay? It's when it happens all the time is the problem.
You will often see very weird, fucked up head geometry like this.
He's wearing camouflage. That's just camouflage. He forgot to put it over his head.
UI elements will often flicker in and out for no apparent reason. You will encounter T-posing corpses from time to time, like these bad boys.
Those are mannequins. That's a feature. That's a feature.
NPCs will regularly stand on top of each other during cutscenes like this.
Sometimes good people make bad choices.
And then
that's just conjoint twin. It's part of the story. There's radiation involved. Come on.
And there's whatever's going on.
That's Invisible Guy, right? Everyone knows about Invisible Guy in the Stalker series.
On here.
I mean, take a look at the view. Stay away from the edge.
So these are just some of the visual bugs I encountered during my playthrough, but don't worry, audio is way worse. There is a massive audio glitch that causes weapon sounds to just not work all the time. It was probably the single most disruptive bug I encountered.
Oh yeah, look at that. He's shooting a guy, doesn't hit it. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
During my playthrough, because it really takes the vibe out of a gunfight when your gun isn't making any sound.
The patch notes will say this. Are you ready what the patch notes will say? Stalker 2 Day 1 patch notes. We fixed it. They won't list what they fixed. It's just Just a blanket statement of, we fixed it.
Positional audio is totally foobar, like absolutely balked, and this has a profound impact on combat since you need to hear where enemies are, and you simply cannot trust any of the positional audio. It totally misfires all the time, telling you that enemies are breathing down your neck when they're nowhere near you, or that they're in front of you when they're not. It's a total mess.
Target lost. At ease, man.
Audio barks are also totally off. Enemies will regularly shout shit that just isn't right. Like here when I'm just murdering fools in plain sight, and yet the guards are like, nothing to see here.
Yeah. It's fine.
So that's visuals and audio, but there are plenty of quest-affecting bugs too. One very common one is that you'll complete an objective, but it won't update in the UI, so you don't think you have completed the objective.
I was mistaken. There are spoilers in this game. Spoiler. It's broke.
And then you spend like an extra 20 minutes trying to solve a problem that you've already solved. That was very annoying. There was one bug that cost me hours, like literal hours. You're really reliant on your stash in this game because your carry limit is so ridiculously low that you need to keep dumping excess ammo and gear into your stash. And you need this stuff, by the way, because resources are scarce, so you can't just toss it away. Anyway, I get to the second town and I'm looking for my stash, and there's no stash. There's a map marker for where the stash should be, but I can't get to that map marker. So I'm really confused and I'm thinking, well, maybe it's kind of like in a hidden area that opens up to me later once I've spoken to some NPC in town or whatever. I don't know. So I spend the next few hours of this game over encumbered, walking significantly more slowly than I otherwise would because I had all this valuable shit with me and I had nowhere to dump it. I kept thinking that the game must give me a stash location sometime soon. Eventually, by pure coincidence, I happened to spot my stash in that same town. Only it wasn't next to my bed where it is in like every other location. It was just in the like weapon vendor's shop for some reason, and the map marker that said where it should be was wrong. It just
Sarge is like, drop some shit, you hoarder. That's not his problem. There's supposed to be stuff to put your shit in, Sarge.
it was wrong, okay? And so
if the game lets me pick up stuff, I'm gonna pick it up.
all this time, I could have been dumping my gear into this stash, had this fucking map marker been in the right location, but it wasn't. So I spent hours just cursing this encumbrance system, which definitely has its problems, by the way, don't get me wrong, but it's made even worse by this bug map marker. And that's an example of just one bug doing critical damage, but there were also instances where all the bugs would hit at once, and it just becomes an absolute clown show. Like, take a look at this clip.
I'm moving to cover, brothers. Keep the enemy pinned.
The son of the monolith is no more.
I can sense you, enemy of the monolith.
Glitches like that are funny, right? That's funny to see. That's a Twitter clip. You put it on.
Did you catch all that? We got some positional audio misfire,
position audio.
just completely wrong. You got my weapon sounds not working, and you got whatever the fuck is going on with this guy. Moments after this, by the way,
He's in an alternate universe at that moment.
is another bug where enemies can see you through walls. We'll talk more about that one later when we cover stealth, but that's also totally busted. Bottom line, man, it's a total mess. It really is. From performance to visual bugs to audio bugs to gameplay bugs and everything in between, it's just a mess. It's still playable though, absolutely. And I don't want to give you the impression that every moment of your
Robert Jones said, no lie, Starfield was my first Bethesda game. I picked up everything, couldn't move, and I quit. Oh my god. Fantastic, Jones. That's fantastic.
playthrough will be this, but enough moments of my playthrough were this, such that I eventually reached the point where I had to tap
I'm sorry, did he just go through the window?
of my playthrough
Not
were
broke.
this, such that I eventually reached the point where
Magic.
I had to
He manifested himself through.
tap out. I am very, very sympathetic to the challenges this studio faced when making this video game, and I'm personally okay to keep waiting for it to get into a more polished technical state, but do I think that people should slap down their time or money for this right now? No, I absolutely do not when it's in this state.
I need all of us to understand.
Right, so if you're going to buy it, you shouldn't buy it. And if you're going to play it on Game Pass because you're not buying it full price, you already paid for Game Pass, you wouldn't play it because you either respect your money or you respect your time. If you don't respect your money or time, then by all means, have fun.
Understand the urgency of the situation, given the extreme importance of our mission.
Where's my fucking scanner?
Williams tend to misfire a lot.
Sector 9, visual detection of the vault. I say again, Sector 9, visual detection of the vault.
So let's take a moment to explain what sort of game Stalker 2 actually is. If you haven't played the previous Stalker...
We are 13 and a half minutes into the game, and that was just him complaining about all the stuff that was wrong with it.
Games before, the easiest touch point is Fallout 3 and 4. You are a dude in a big wasteland, and I mean really big. It's like 60 square kilometers apparently, and you can feel every meter of that as you're trudging through it. There is a main quest line that'll send you to various locations where more scripted scenarios play out featuring specific enemies and NPCs, but a lot of the game is just wandering around, bumping into bandits who want to steal your stuff, fighting off swarms of annoying mutant rats, scrounging for weapons, gear, and consumables to keep you alive for one more day. Like I said in the intro, it's Fallout without any of its AAA trimming, since the experience is meant to be much more arduous and unforgiving. There is a storyline here, and while I have not seen it through to its conclusion, the 25 hours I have experienced have been honestly awful. It's no exaggeration to say that for most of my playthrough, I had no idea what was going on other than I was a dude who was trying to recover something that was stolen from me, and that was about it. Eventually, like really eventually, a plot starts to coalesce around something that's kind of interesting, and I won't spoil it, but if you've read Roadside Picnic, which is the novel that the Stalker series is based on, then I think it's a plot that will pique your interest. But it was honestly like 15 or so hours in before any of that started to surface, and before that it just felt so confused and meandering and lost. That's a general point I'd make actually. Stalker 2 makes a horrendously bad first impression. The intro sequence you go through lasts for about 45 minutes, and it feels like it's tailor-made to get people to quit this game.
Right up Robert Jones's alley. See that, Jones? You can play this game, it'll make you want to quit.
It's so dark that you can barely see anything. Core game systems are not explained to you, and you will die for not having understood them. Basic objectives are unclear and super frustrating to complete. You'll get over-encumbered like immediately, and there's no way to avoid that. The list goes on. I spoke to a few reviewers, and they all had different takes on the game, but one thing that everyone could agree on is that that intro sucked. So if you're going to saddle up for this, then be aware of that and know that it does get better after the title card. But don't look to that main story for redemption, because you will find none. It is a story starring basically no characters, since your transient existence means you only see characters once or twice tops. The character you play as says little and has basically no personality. The whole thing just seems to be a wild goose chase for the first 15 or so hours until eventually a semblance of plot comes into focus. But even then, it's still pretty weak. So, should you play Stalker 2 for the story? Hell no, man. Absolutely not.
Okay, so gameplay, rough. Frame rate, rough. Sound, rough. Story, rough.
So why should you play Stalker 2 then? Well, you're kind of playing it for everything else. The exploration, side content, and core gameplay that lets you live out this Stalker fantasy and write your own story. So as a primer for all of this, I really do recommend reading Roadside Picnic. It's an incredible book that tells the story of treasure hunters known as stalkers who dare to raid an exclusion zone filled with dangerous anomalies. Aliens had visited the zone sometime before, and the things they left behind defy the laws of classical physics as we know them. And so something as simple as like a grease spill or a cobweb could be lethal in ways we could never even imagine. And the various artifacts that the aliens left behind are highly prized for their unique, sometimes limitless power. The Stalker universe remixes this idea slightly, connecting it loosely to the Chernobyl disaster, but keeping the
worlds. yeah, that was my impersonation of a dog. Rough.
Existence of dangerous, unknowable, physics-defying anomalies. This is where Stalker 2 is strongest. The exclusion zone is a vast expanse of mysteries, most of them dangerous in ways that you need to learn by dying to them. That was probably the thing I enjoyed most about Stalker 2. There are so many of these anomalies peppered throughout the landscape, and the first time you meet them, you just die to them because you don't know what they are or what they do. But over time, you learn how to survive each of them, and that's exactly the sort of journey that real stalkers went on in Roadside Picnic, or that we ourselves go through in games like Pacific Drive or Outer Wilds.
I can say, without a doubt, The reason we didn't see Stalker 2 nominated for any awards in this show, I think is self-explanatory.
Like many of these sorts of stories, the real horrors of the zone are the humans trying to scratch out a life there, and this is another big part of the gameplay loop. As you explore, you'll chance upon both friendly and hostile stalkers, bandits, armed factions trying to assert territorial claims, as well as just aimless wanderers, many of whom aren't looking for any trouble but still find themselves in it nonetheless. Like this guy, for example. His brother was killed by an anomaly, and he's asking me to help fetch his corpse, only he asks that I don't pilfer his pockets when I do so. When I ignore his pleas and pilfer them nonetheless, he's none too pleased about it.
What about my payment?
You looted my bro's body. You ain't getting a single coupon from me.
Tense showdowns with bandits and stalkers are the most common occurrence though, and most of these involve some sort of decision making. You might choose to play along and help them out, you might choose to tell them to go fuck themselves, you might say you're gonna play along and—
Oh, so you actually have like choice, unlike the other game that came out, what, about 2 weeks ago? Veilguard? You can tell someone to go fuck themselves in this game?
then you double cross them. That's all up to you, and to the game's credit, there is usually enough flexibility in the dialogue and gameplay systems for those decisions to feel real. But there are also plenty of times when these sorts of scripted encounters just don't quite work. Like this one, for example. I rock up and I see a dude on the ground wounded, and I'm like, alright, well, I'll help him out, because, you know, why not? I'll just do that. So here's what happens.
He didn't even stab the dude. Well, obviously, Sarge, the reason you should buy this, if you just look up a couple of lines, Robert Jones says it right here. You gotta buy it to support Ukraine. There it is.
Let's get these pieces of shit. Cover me.
So there's no way I could have known that those guys would attack me if I helped them out, but anyway, I learned the hard way. So I die, and I reload my save, and then I chat with these guys, and they're like, this dude hid something in these pigsties. Do you want to go find it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I go in there, and I couldn't see it, so I start heading over to the other pigsty, which is just across the way, and then this happens.
The chump's running away! Get him, boys!
And it's like, how was I supposed to know that that would happen? But there's quite a bit of that goes on in Stalker 2, where it's clear that GSC have scripted encounters to go a certain way, and if you don't play along with that script exactly as they planned it, then the scenario breaks, which really pulls you out of the emergent storytelling that you're trying to write for yourself. More tangibly, there are plenty of side quests to do. Most of them involve just going to a place to kill some dudes or retrieve a thing. They do feel like open world busy work type quests, but because the open world can often be quite surprising with what it has to offer, I didn't too much mind when some quest giver sent me out to go murder some wild dogs or whatever. Fundamentally, Stalker 2 is less about the story that GSC wants to tell and more about the story that you want to tell yourself, through your footfalls, through your decisions, through your discoveries. So often the game will disappoint you owing to some bug or some poorly scripted event, but when it delivers, it really does deliver. Right now, the scales tip far more toward disappointment than delivery, but as the screws get tightened on this, that balance will shift and the—
All I can notice after he said the pop-in earlier is all the pop-in every single time he's in an open area.
process of exploring the zone and peeling back its mysteries will be so satisfying and so rewarding that it'll make up for whatever shortcomings exist in the writing and the mission design. When it comes to the core gameplay loop of Stalker 2, there are really three elements. There's survival, there's combat, and there's stealth. All of them are rife with problems, and the stealth is just straight up broken. Survival first, though. On the whole, Stalker 2's survival systems are very casual, very light touch, and honestly, I think they're fairly underbaked. You get hungry, but you're so inundated with food drops that so long as you just keep eating everything you find as you find it, you never need to think about hunger. There's no thirst system. Water just replenishes stamina, which can be helpful in a pinch, but it can't alleviate the real stamina threat, which is encumbrance. There's radiation exposure, which you can cure by swigging vodka, and you'll never struggle to find that either. You can bleed, but that's quickly fixed by bandages, which are again so numerous that bleeding is rarely anything more than a temporary bother. And health packs are so numerous and so efficacious that most gunfights are just about, you know, stabbing yourself in the arm over and over again until there's no enemies left. I won't go into all that stuff into any more detail, except to say that right now it feels almost placeholder. It gestures towards depth without actually delivering any, and
so we are now 21 and a half minutes into this. He's still bitching about stuff that's wrong with the game.
Rebalancing of those systems and the item economy around them will no doubt occur at some point in the future. The encumbrance system, though. This fucking encumbrance system. I really do believe that if you removed encumbrance from like 95% of video games that utilize it, you'd instantly arrive at a better video game.
Robert Jones would have played Starfield if they got rid of that.
And never has that been more true than in the case of Stalker 2. Oh my god, I cannot explain to you how utterly crippling this encumbrance system is here. The weight limit you have is so absurdly low that even with just, you know, 2 equipped weapons, 1 in your bag, some ammo, and some basic provisions, you are already well on your way to being encumbered, at which point you move so slowly and your stamina drains more quickly, you can't jump as often because you just wait until your fucking stamina to refill. So annoying!
His skill up is so... he is so angry at this. I love it. He's just like, just get rid of this fucking thing.
And then you head out into the field and you collect some other ammo for some other gun that you might not be using at that exact moment, maybe a new piece of armor, God forbid a 4th weapon, and you're immediately over encumbered. And if you then want to get that stuff back to base so you can, you know, stash it or whatever, there's no fast travel, you just have to walk very, very slowly back to base. At one point, one of the critical missions gives you an item that weighs 12 kilograms, which even if you pack light, immediately puts you over the weight cap. And then it asks you to walk like 4 kilometers.
The ammo doesn't weigh a lot, Sarge. You can see, if here, I'll go back to that screen. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, in the screen here at the very bottom, his max capacity is max is 80, okay? He's at 47.9 even with all that ammo. Okay? I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is the loot over here and the max when he's over capacity over here. Ammo never weighs a lot in any of the games, except it did weigh quite a bit in Fallout 76, but they fixed that.
You might not be using, and I was to play this game at launch. The you to walk like 4 kilometers through a swamp while encumbered. Jesus Christ, man, like, if I was to play this game at launch, the very first thing I would do, like the very first thing, is I would download a mod that disables or at least greatly relaxes the weight limit in this game, because it absolutely destroyed my enjoyment, and it made this game so much more painful and more boring than it should have been. Okay, encumbrance rant done. What about combat? Well, it's a mixed bag in terms of its fundamentals.
We are 23 minutes and 21 seconds into this, and now he's getting to combat, and it sounds like he's about to bitch about that as well.
I really like how weapons feel. There's a big focus on tactility and recoil, and you know, it's hard to hit your mark, but in a good way. It really does ask you to line up your shots, and that process does become easier as you invest in quality mods for your guns, as well as keeping them properly maintained. There's quite a range of weapons too, and though I didn't get to try nearly as many of them as I would have liked due to the encumbrance limit, the ones I did try all felt great, and I think people who enjoy raw gunplay will enjoy shooting guns in Stalker 2. I will say that on the whole, combat against human enemies is pretty good. The AI is definitely very inconsistent, sometimes surprisingly clever and responsive, other times totally brain dead, but more often than not, firefights feel really tense and clutch, and I enjoyed them. It's when we start getting to the mutant enemies that things really fall apart. There's a surprising lack of mutant enemy variety in the game, and what's here all feels like it's 1 or 2 enemy types that have been reskinned. Like there are these giant mutant meatball things that kind of just run at you. And then there are also mutant boars that also just run at you. There are scary little dogs that run.
I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm seeing a lot of little things that run at you.
And are super annoying to shoot. And there are also skittery little rats that run at you and are even more annoying to shoot. The biggest pain in the ass, though, are these guys. They look like Doom imps, but they can knock you down and turn invisible. And they're really cool the first time you fight them, but the 50 times after that, they're just annoying as hell, especially when you're forced to fight them in enclosed spaces when all you can do is stand there healing through their chip damage while you slowly wear them down.
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome.
The general theme for all of these enemies is they run right up to your face and hit you, and that's all they got. That means you almost always need to have a shotgun with you because it's the most effective weapon against that type of attack. And it's just kind of uninteresting given the sorts of enemies you could have in a zone transformed by the impacts of a nuclear incident. That brings us to stealth, which is, as I have mentioned many times already, totally broken. Like
25 minutes and 42 seconds into it. Let's continue on. What's wrong with the game?
Like every part of it is broken.
But I'm sure day one patch fixed all of this. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. When have they not fixed it? When has any other game in the history of video games fixed all the problems of the game on day one patches?
So vision cones are actually the main problem. Here's me in a forest, headlamp off, pitch black darkness, and these guys can somehow see me making my approach. And you might say, well, isn't that realistic? And the answer is no. Go look into some greenery at night and see how far you can see. But setting that aside, vision cones...
I have I have acreage. Okay. At night, I can't see 10 feet past my back porch. Okay. I got a giant lamp that when I shine out there I can see because you can't see a goddamn thing. Now I get it's a video game. Okay. But he is a good 50 to 70 yards away from those people in the game, and they can see him clearly. Okay.
Cones are just broken. Like, here I'm apparently being spotted by someone, but where the fuck are they? The truth is, and I learned to accept this eventually, enemies can just straight up see you through walls. Like this moment here, where I just like crack a door open, but it immediately alerts all guards in the area. Even stealth takedowns don't work properly. Like here I am up on a roof on my own doing a silent takedown of a dude, and when I execute it, I immediately aggro nearby guards for some reason.
I'm good. I'm good. I hated this in Ubisoft games when you're playing Wildlands and stuff like that. I'd be in a bush hidden with a sniper rifle with a silencer on it, and I would shoot somebody, no one's around, then everybody knows to shoot at the bush that I'm in.
And here, the takedown animation doesn't work at all, so I end up just slashing some dude in the back repeatedly, again, alerting all nearby guards. The name Stalker implies that you might be doing some stalking from time to time, and right now, the currently implemented stealth model makes stalking impossible. They may as well rename it to like Shooter or something, because Lord knows that'll be a much more accurate title. Anyway, look, the survival stuff is placeholder, but I think that when it gets a balance pass or some really good mods, Stalker 2 could provide a fairly compelling survival experience that complements its exploration. The combat against humans is pretty good for the most part, but the mutant enemies could do with some work, and the stealth stuff is... I'm not going to say it for the 10th time. You know exactly what I think. Much like the rest of the games.
27 and a half minutes in.
Stalker 2's core gameplay elements are a mix of impressive, buggy, and unfinished, and none of them are so good that it's worth putting up with their shortcomings now rather than waiting to experience them at some point in the future, where they will hopefully be actually finished.
I did what you said. Return to Icarus. Get everything ready. It is time.
That's kind of the main point of this whole video. Stalker 2 is out now, and it will be out forever. And the very worst state it will ever be in is right now. GSC has already announced ambitious plans for the future, 2 DLC expansions for the game, one of which will deliver a multiplayer mode, which we assume will be co-op. And that's pretty cool, because honestly, rolling around...
So then what's the benefits of buying it now? What's the benefits of buying it now? right? Even if they have a day one fix that fixes a small percentage of the stuff, what is the point of buying the game now? What is the point of having a release date? What is the point of having a 5 to 7 year cycle, delaying it 4 times or 5 times, and yet still coming out in the state that it's in?
Around the zone with a buddy would be pretty sick. But separate from that new content will be a raft of technical improvements, bug fixes, and quality of life changes that will hopefully get this thing to the point where it's really humming. To be clear though, I suspect that the road ahead for this game is not a short one. Like, I don't think you fix all of these issues up in 3 months. With a smaller team working on it post-launch, this feels like a 12 to 18 month journey for real. I'd love to be proven wrong, but the scale of issues that I alone encounter...
Do you think, Altair, that 99.9% of the population that plays video games knows that this developer and then this game, that they were in a war, or that they're in a war area? Do you think that anyone knows that Hello Games studio flooded when they were making No Man's Sky? You see what I'm saying? I get it. As a human, I can look at it and go, man, that sucks. As a customer, I don't care, right? You're selling a product and you put your product out and it doesn't work. That's not my concern. Right? It's not my concern. Is it your concern what my personal life is outside of this on the screen? Right? Is it your concern that if I'm doing something and I have problems with my personal life, is it your concern? Well, this stream's just not good because of such things. No, it doesn't matter. You're here to be entertained, to pass some time, to have a product put out in front of you. Okay? Video game. You're there to play the video game, right? I don't care what happened, right? I don't care if going from point A to point B, my car broke down, I had to change the tire, I had to do all that stuff. I don't care. Did you show up for the job? Cool.
During my playthrough, there's simply no way you fix all of that up quickly. I think it'll be a long process. But I do think it will ultimately be a really worthwhile process. The original Stalker games are still held in really high regard today, and they too were really buggy and broken at launch, but they nailed a fantasy and a setting and a vibe that is rare in video games, despite how appealing it is. Stalker 2 is at times nailing that same fantasy and setting and vibe, like it just does. I don't want to play any more of this game in its current state, but I can't wait to play this game when it's done, because even though the story is disappointing and there are some design elements I don't love, there's an undeniable appeal to what GSC has built here. The zone calls to us, and I don't think we should answer that call just yet, but when the time comes, I think Stalker 2 will firmly take its place alongside its predecessor.
But you can insert name there. Any game. This game will be better 12 months from now. This game, or that game, or the other game will be better 15 months from now. That's great. I didn't buy it 12 to 15 months from now. I bought it today. Is it working today? And the sad part is, let's say the game come out and it's still broke. But let's say everyone bought it and it made its money. Do you think they'll fix it? No. They'll take their sweet-ass time fixing it because it made its sales. But if it doesn't make the sales, if it doesn't get the revenue that it's supposed to get or they thought it was going to get, they'll fix that thing so goddamn fast. That's what'll happen.
As a compelling, worthwhile survival RPG experience, one that players will come back to for many years to come. I look forward to that day, but right now, I cannot recommend Stalker 2.
That's a shame, man. It's a shame, right? I don't like to shit on games. I don't. But every single effing time a game comes out, doesn't matter if it's from this company or that company or this system or that system, third party, first party, doesn't matter. The games come out, they're not finished. They've been in the pipeline for 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10 years. They get delayed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. They come out, they don't sell well, and their answer is, well, you're the problem. You're the problem. Not the game. You. You're sexist, misogynistic, right? You're racist, right? You review bomb games, you do all this stuff, and it's just like, I just want to play a game. I just want to play a game, right? I watched the video yesterday. 17,000 games have come out this year. 17,000. Why do I need to play this one? Right? Why do I need to play a broken, buggy, unfinished game on day one when there's other games that have come out that maybe they were also broke, buggy, and unfinished, but here we are 10 months, 11 months, 12 months later, if they came out in January or February or whatever, okay, and those games are in better state than they were when they came out 10 to 12 months ago.
Okay, so that's Stalker 2. A real shame I couldn't recommend it, but I am hopeful that in a few years' time this will be one worth coming back to. However, I know that plenty of you are keen to play on day one. Fair enough. So if you're going to do that, I strongly recommend you do so on a GPU from this video sponsor, NVIDIA. So obviously, NVIDIA GPUs are the best on the market in terms of the raw processing power of their hardware. We're going to let this play
because we watch his videos, right? We give thumbs up. I got to put his link in the description down below because I didn't know I was going to look at this during the live show. So
nothing comes close to what an NVIDIA 40 series GPU is capable of. And since Stalker 2 is a very, very demanding game, you're going to need all the GPU grunt you can get your hands on. But it doesn't stop there, because NVIDIA GPUs are more than just their throughput. They're also about the proprietary NVIDIA technology that can push that hardware to new heights. NVIDIA DLSS 3 is one example. DLSS 3 frame generation uses AI to interlace additional frames in between those which are being natively rendered by your hardware. This can often double and sometimes triple your frame rates in games, and that's something that I personally have experienced.
Right, links in the description down below if you guys want to go watch the video or give it a thumbs up.
DLSS 3 does substantially increase baseline frame rates, allowing you to clear over 100 FPS while playing at max settings, 4K resolution. That's the sort of performance that is frankly impossible without the support of DLSS 3. It's a feature supported across a huge range of titles too. Take Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, which just launched this past week. That is a game that supports DLSS 3 with frame generation, so you're getting the smoothest possible experience, and it also supports NVIDIA Reflex for more snappy and responsive gameplay. Same goes for Red Dead Redemption, which also launched earlier this month on PC. Yeah, it's a 14-year-old game, but the technology that powers it on PC is anything but old, as it also supports both DLSS 3 and NVIDIA Reflex, giving you the headroom to enable 4K resolution and ultra-wide gameplay depending on your setup. As of just recently, over 600 games are now enhanced by NVIDIA's RTX technology, and more titles are added every single month. PC gaming is at its absolute best with AI-powered NVIDIA DLSS, so if you'd like to learn more about these games and this technology, then I've left a link to NVIDIA's DLSS page below. Thanks NVIDIA for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching it.
There you go. Go check out Skill Up. Like I said, he doesn't need mine. He's got over 1 million subscribers. He makes good content. At least I think he makes good content. And look, it's a shame. It's a shame that games have to come out and they're talked about like this. But that's it, man. That's it. You can't defend a game that's broken, buggy on day one. Okay. We've had more and more games come out. Now, there's many different problems with games in the game industry now, right? There's the some people will tell you it's because of the hold on 1 second. Some people will tell you because it's the woke stuff that it's in games. Other people tell you it's other things. I look at it on this channel, bare bone. Does your game work? I don't care about that other stuff. I just care if the game comes out that you promised, that you told us, right? They set the tone. The graphics, the gameplay, how big it is, all the stuff. They tell us when the date is. They tell us when it's for launching and when it is and how to pre-order and do all this stuff. They push that stuff on us. I'm not pushing their date. Like, you hold the game as long as you need to make it work. And when it comes out day one, first impressions are everything, and your game comes out and it doesn't work, that's not on me. That's not on my review that when I play your game that I paid my hard-earned money for, or if I rented it through GeForce Now because or I'm playing on Game Pass or whatever it is. Right? If I pay for something, if it's $20, if it's $70, if it's $140, that game needs to work. That's not even including if the game is good or bad, and that's subjective based on each person. But it needs to work day one. That's a must. Okay? It can't be broke, buggy. Day one patch, not fixing all the problems. Day one patch is the first problem, okay? Not the solving of the problem of everything, okay? It needs to be working order before. So what do these companies have to do? If your date, now this game got delayed, what, 4 times? I think it was 5 maybe. Instead of putting it on today, maybe you should have put it in February. Maybe you should have waited one more year. Well, that'll drive up costs. Well, you heard them. They have 2 DLCs planned, meaning they're going to be in that studio regardless, and they're working on that game regardless, right? So maybe, just maybe, work on the game, finish the game, know your game is done, and then put it out there. Not be like, oh, let's put it out there, and then go, we'll put an apology out there. Oh, we're so sorry. We have a day patch. We're listening. We thank you for the community. Oh, we're so grateful. Thank you so much for the support and blah, blah, blah. Just make a game, man. Make a game, sell a game. It's so frustrating. Right? My 10-year-old son doesn't understand servers, doesn't understand cloud gaming, doesn't understand what companies are going through. He just wants to play the game. He just wants to play Microsoft Flight Sim. Someone wants to play just Stalker 2. Somebody else just wants to play the next game that comes out that they paid money for, and yet these games don't work day one. All right, next story. Minecraft theme park coming from company behind Legoland. Okay, Minecraft theme parks are coming to the U.S. and UK from Merlin Entertainments, the company behind Legoland, Alton Towers, and Madame Tussauds. That means we'll probably get one here in Orlando. The Minecraft theme park will be built in existing Merlin locations in 2026 or 2027, to further locations across the globe coming later. It's unclear which locations will see the Minecraft attraction built as of yet, but Merlin, which I believe owns the Legoland stuff, so we might get it in Legoland over here, did say it will be investing in excess of 85 million or 110 million, 85, what was that, pounds, or 110 million in the first 2. Merlin is looking to bring Minecraft adventures to life, and the company said that there's also included development of first-of-its-kind concepts for Minecraft-themed guests, accommodation, retail, food, beverage, alongside existing experiences including Minecraft-themed ride and Merlin locations in these 2 countries. Okay. The theme park will be built in collaboration of Minecraft developer Mojang to ensure authenticity, and locations will include touch points for fans to interact with the unlock content in the game itself. A rendering of what Minecraft theme park will look like can be seen above. That just looks like Minecraft. Cool. This announcement comes from Minecraft continues to expand its brand far beyond its game, which is also the more popular of all time already. Minecraft Lego and other toys have existed for years, though a live-action film starring Jack Black bolsters the IP when it arrives on April 4th, 2025. Parroting or partnering with Merlin Entertainment is an incredibly exciting step for us, Mojang Studios commented. Vice President of Franchise Development of Gaming at Microsoft. Merlin's experience in creating world-class attractions makes them perfect partner to help us bring Minecraft to life in a new immersive ways in permanent locations around the globe. Our vast, diverse community, always looking to be new opportunities to explore and engage with Minecraft, and also thrilled to build a touch points around the globe that will also be a surprise as a delight to them. These are also real-life Minecraft experiences will not only grow our community, but also offer fans more opportunities to immerse themselves in the world of Minecraft in ways that they've never imagined. Okay, here's one thing I think Minecraft is missing, and I understand Steve is like the character. He's that Mario character for Minecraft. I think they need to make more characters, and I know they have like different tales and stuff like that. They need to make more characters, not just a generic like, oh, look, it's a sheep. Oh, look, it's a creeper. They have to have named characters. Sort of like McDonald's did back in the day with like Grimace, Ronald McDonald, Burglar, Hamburglar, and stuff like that. Like Mario has with Mario, Luigi. Like they have to have a cast of characters in Minecraft. So when you're walking around, it's not just, oh, look, it's a creeper. Oh, look, it's an Enderman. There needs to be some sort of like, look, that's Eddie the Enderman or whatever, right? Like the King of Endermans or the King of Creepers or whatever. Okay. I think this is genius, first off. Obviously, we have the Mario Land opening up in Universal Studios over here in Florida. That's going to be like I can't even fathom the word gigantic, intergalactical experience for people. Like it's going to be such an awesome experience for people to go to Nintendo World, to go on Donkey Kong or the Mario Kart ride and go into that land inside Universal Studios, or sort of like when people go to Harry Potter Land, right? The Harry Potter world in there as well. Minecraft is a giant IP. Giant. It is Mario of this generation. right? That's how many people play it. Okay, that's how many people know of Minecraft. Okay, if you have a kid, they know about Minecraft in some way, shape, or form. Okay, your grandmother, okay, probably knows what Minecraft is because of the thing. It's been around for 12 years, and it is a brand like a Mario, right? Like a Star Wars. But it doesn't have those characters like those IPs, like a Mario or a Star Wars or a Star Trek. So I'll be interested to see what they do moving forward, that Minecraft and Microsoft, what they do with Minecraft. We'll see what happens from this movie that comes out in April. If it's going to, obviously, I think it's going to boost no matter how poorly it's received or how well it's received. I think it's going to bring more people to Minecraft itself for video games. We saw it with Borderlands movie. Borderlands movie bombed super bad. It's the Concord of movies, okay? And yet it raised the sales of Borderlands games that have been out for a decade, okay? So that's what I think is going to happen. I think this is a smart move. I hope they come out, because we actually just went to Legoland just a couple months ago for my nephew's birthday. And I said as we drove off, I was like, we'll never be back because the kids will outgrow it. But if they're going to put a Minecraft thing there, my kid might be like 12, right? 12 or 13. Maybe he'll like it just because he likes Minecraft. Maybe he'll want to go back to Legoland and hang out. If not, got to wait until, like, down the road, we're talking 20, 30 years, I might have a grandkid that might want to go. But by that time, who knows, right? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think about a Minecraft theme park or a theme park built into already established Legoland properties? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. I think it's cool. Obviously, you can have the Minecraft, the minecart ride. You can have a minecart ride. You can have the Nether realm, different things, right? You can have the different areas. You can have like a diamond mine that you can go into, different memorabilias and stuff. Obviously, you can sell the plushies, and you can have different drinks and whatnot. Like, Minecraft just oozes a land of itself, for sure. Make your own, like, weapons, like, you know how, like, Star Wars does, make your own lightsaber type of thing. Maybe you make your own, like, kind of like pickaxe or shovel or sword and shield. Like, you build it and then purchase it. You know what I mean? Like, they charge you. Maybe make a character there that's, like, super detailed that you can bring into the video game later down the road. They could teach people how to do the mods and stuff at the theme park. Get people into making more content for Minecraft itself. Minecraft Midway Mania, yeah, right. Just take the games that you see or the rides that you see, right? Like like TNT launch. That's perfect, Krebsy. Yeah, you pull a thing and the TNT launcher shoots out. You have the Minecraft roller coaster. You have, God, you could have. There's so many things that they've done with the Minecraft now. It's just insane. And on top of that, if you really wanted to, then they can hold their conventions or their things if they wanted to do it back in person, which I don't know if they'll ever do again, which is a shame because they were supposed to come to Orlando and we were supposed to go that year, and then obviously COVID happened and they never went back to, like, in person. But they could have their events at the actual place. So they really don't have to decorate. It's already decorated as the Minecraft area, and you have people come in. It's a closed event just for that. That's one thing I like about Orlando. Obviously, we don't know where it's going to be built, but what I like about Orlando is all the different theme parks and stuff that we have here. That's a really good idea, Krebsy. The Midway Mania thing. They should have an IRL building competition with big blocks. They have that at Legoland right now. Like, there's a Ferrari section in Legoland, Jones, where you go in and they have this car they built that was fully made of a Ferrari built, life-size Ferrari built of Legos. And then you go into this, like, Lego section where you build your own Ferrari. They give you all the wheels and stuff. You don't get to keep it, but you get to build it, and other people are building stuff. And there's, like, different competitions of, like, ramps and tracks that you put on. It's like a madhouse. It's a madhouse inside there. You don't outgrow Legoland. You don't. You're still a kid, but there are kids that when they get to a certain age, heck, it's not as cool anymore. You know what I mean? They don't want to admit it's cool. After you get past that age, even as an adult, I'm like, oh man, this is cool. Like I'm in there. The Ferrari experience that I just told you about, I was the one that was built. Like my wife had to pull me out. They're like, all right, we're leaving. I was like, all right, just give me a second. Just give me. I just gotta build one more thing. I'm there helping kids. I'm like, hey, here, put that on your car, right? Oh, you want to make it like this, right? Because you're trying to make it aerodynamic, but heavy enough so it goes down the ramp faster. You do outgrow Legoland though as theme park, because it's much more themed thematically towards smaller kids. I would say 10, maybe 11 is pushing it. If you have a kid that's like 4 years old, I'll even say 3, but 3 to 4 to about 9 or 10 is like primo age to go to Legoland. So you guys were saying that Stalker 2's reviews. Did you put that in the Discord? Yeah, what is... Okay, Krebsy put this in Discord. Krebsy, thank you very much for always submitting stuff in the Discord. All right, so Stalker 2 reviews. Now, two things are happening here. Obviously, the people that gave reviews didn't get the day one patch. Okay? Didn't get the day one patch. So it makes you want to know what game they were playing. Right? Because all of these reviews played the same review copy that SkillUp just talked about. Makes you wonder what the hell was Nexus Hub playing, or Game Rant, or Gaming Bolt, or GameSpot, or Shack News, or Video Gamer, or Game Reactor. What were they playing? Because the one that we just listened to, and again, SkillUp is only one person with his one review. It's his opinion. Okay? But everything he just told us, does that sound like an 8 out of 10? 9 out of 10 game? I don't see IGN on this list. Or 7GN. We got DualShocker at a 7. Press Start 6.5. CGM 6. GLHF 5. VG247 gave it a 4 out of 5. Okay. Tech Radar gave it a 4 out of 5. Dexto, whatever, 3 out of 5. The Gamer 3 out of 5. Game Radar 3 out of 5. And VGC 2 out of 5. Metacritic gave it a 76. OpenCritic gave it a 77. Robert Jones says 4 out of 10. Is that their actual, what IGN gave it, a 4 out of 10? Like, what are we talking about? All the problems that we saw, are you telling me that their review copies, they were fine? Nexus Hub had a perfect game? Well, not perfect, but pretty goddamn close. Oh, what SkillUp gave it is a 4 out of 10, right? What I'm saying here, this looks very fishy. Very fishy. They didn't play the game with day one patch. They played the game with the way that he played the game. How the fuck are you giving it a 9 out of 10? How are you giving it a 4 out of 5? This is why I think all reviews are jokes. If they want to give their opinions and stuff like that, but I bet if I go read some of the articles, they don't mention any of the problems. Right? Which means that Nexus Hub is not trying to tell you anything about a game. It's trying to get you to purchase the game to give them money. Not give them money, but to give the product money. Right? That would be shilling for the company. There's no way in hell that these people had a flawless or almost flawless experience. Okay? You don't think their review has anything to do because the company is in Ukraine and they're putting that towards the review, do you? One of the articles makes it sound like it's flawless masterpiece. Their words. Interesting. I'm going to Game Rant. The second one on the list. I want to read a little bit of this. Let's see what it says. Okay. Game Rant, Stalker 2. They gave it a 9 out of 10 now. 9 out of 10. I don't know what the article is going to say, but we're going to read about it. Okay. Stalker 2. Now, again, we just listened to a not favorable review from SkillUp, and now we're going to read, okay, a very favorable Stalker 2 review. Okay. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl review. 15 years after the last Stalker game was released, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is finally here. After going through a pandemic, relocation, fire in the office, consistent hacking attempts, and then a war on top of it all, Ukraine game developer GSC Game World managed to make it through the produce what is more than deserving of a blip on a player's radar. Especially post-apocalyptic survival horror enthusiast, Stalker 2 Chernobyl is the first-person shooter survival horror game that's also players stepping into the boots, okay, of the stalker wandering fictional revisit Chernobyl exclusion zone as the story unfolds before him. Since I began my journey into the zone and my relationship with Stalker 2 has been a bit of a roller coaster, my first 10 or so hours in the game is largely riddled with immersive breaking bugs. Unconventional vocal performances and unoccasional moments of panic in Stalker 2 threw way too many things at me at once. However, while some of these issues persisted, the deeper venture into the game, the more I settled into the awkwardness of more of it began to appreciate the unique experience. I have a question. That just sounds like that he's coping with it. Like, these are bad. This is like he just said the first 10 hours, right? Immersion breaking bugs, inconvenience vocal performance, unoccasional moments of panic in Stalker 2, right? Like we heard that from SkillUp now, and now they're saying the exact same thing, but they ended up giving it a 9. Okay. It's I began to appreciate it. Okay. It says unprecedented amount of player power, gameplay, and rewarding enough to challenge its poses. Stalker 2 may have a lot going on for it, but it's also a massive open world of 60 square kilometers, and without a doubt, its leading star. As an open world genre frequents of bogged down by the same tired, worn out formula, refreshing when the game comes along and does something different. Games like Elden Ring and Zelda Breath of the Wild have done a part of the assure the open world formula continues to evolve in the right direction, and Stalker 2 has taken the stage, and now the industry, what it's made of as well, in a way manages to capture the essence of what Todd Howard has always claimed that Fallout Wasteland is the main character. Now, for starters, Stalker 2 is open world entirely seamless, meaning that only loading screen players will encounter occur when they load into their save file, either upon startup selecting from the menu or after dying, the ultimate increase of Stalker 2's immersion, which also could be arguably be primary goal of any post-apocalyptic game. Especially those set in the barren wasteland, Stalker 2's open world isn't barren by any means, but it is empty. Yet the particular post-apocalyptic adventure manages to make the wasteland feel full, alive, which is also largely due to the ability to utilize negative space. Now, since Stalker 2 tries to be the best to keep players starving of the resources and better equipment, exploring the abandoned buildings, irradiated pits throughout the zone is never fruitless venture. The main things that the players need to be aware of is while exploring the surprise attacks by the crazed animals, monsters, and enemy NPCs, as well as the inventory weight. In fact, managing inventory in Stalker 2 is more than half the battle, as it's very easy to become encumbered. Okay, and a player aren't picky about the loot they find, and since its overencumbrance makes a swift move slower, Inventory exceeds the weight limit can also be a recipe for quick death in the end. Where Stalker 2's open world truly excels is the ability to create and maintain the atmospheric tension almost impossible to escape. There's certainly plenty of dangers and lurking in the zones, but there also a world isn't without moments that feel like something out of Quentin Tarantino's film. There are tensions that also be cut with a butter knife, and yet they sometimes doesn't even amount to anything. For myself, every little noise I heard through the zone made me turning my head and aiming down the iron sights of my gun, even though it sometimes was just a bird flying away. It was always justified, however, that the enemies in the zone, and even that the zone itself, always seemed to be anticipated when I would also let my guard down. Regarding the tension, it's also a dark, and Stalker 2 is also players head underground into caves. It's almost too dark to see 3 feet ahead. Even with the flashlight at one point, I turned up to the brightness in order to see what a little better to find out that ruined was the original design to subject to me in the dangerous zone. So I turned it back down. It's not so bad traveling through the open areas of the zone that at night, but in the routes that eventually led to dark, abandoned hallways or caves increase the threat level, and corners become closer, and strange noise and spine-tingling roars fill the air. The zone is also filled with anomalies. These also usually damage, introducing the sometimes fatal if players get caught with them. These unique occurrences within the zone defy all known principles of physics, and it can also do anything from pulling Skiff's body into making him bleed out. For example, one of the more common threatening anomalies acts like a black hole. If you attempt to limbs from his body, players also will find spheres of floating glass shards and inflict the bleed status effect, and they walk through. Thankfully, Stalker 2 gives players the unlimited number of bolts, which then can be thrown through anomalies to trigger, often disable it temporarily. Stalker 2's zone also is a frequent bad weather rolling through the area, including emissions. There's also deadly storms. They're also survivable within the shelter. When it's possible, stay outside during the weather and event. However, even both captivity and terrifying to witness. There's also plenty of time during the playthrough that the bolt lightning would also strike ground directly in front of me. And since I was also usually playing on headphones, on the explosive sound it made, it would also send me back to my chair. Any other storm would also generally add to the stress of trying to fend off enemy ambushes or trying to get a quick moment once. A kind of weather the system I hope to see Monster Hunter Wilds, but that might be too much to ask. Another one of the game's most notable features is the emphasis on player agency, which is far from the new concept, but Stalker 2 manages to achieve something that many other choice-driven games don't. Specifically, whereas most choice-driven narratives give players somewhat clear definition of right or wrong, Stalker 2 lacks the morals and therefore encourages players to play it a way they see fit. Often been referred to as the closest friends as one of the most benevolent gamers, as I tend to gravitate towards making whatever a game tells me it is the best decision to make. However, in Stalker 2, this is largely out of the window and highly gratifying, which is talking about, like, go tell someone to F off. Okay. There's also plenty of moments during the playthrough where I had no idea what the best decision was, and the Stalker 2 shines so bright in this area. Almost every choice feels morale gray. It's also likely due to the nature of playing as one of the Stalkers, who also known to being amongst the various factions in the zone. Although it's technically a faction themselves, there is also a rogue nature makes them hate by almost every non-Stalker in the zone, as generally they do whatever is best for them and fully embrace the philosophy throughout the game. There are also numerous of narrative events throughout the Stalker 2 story and require players to make a major decision, all which eventually work together to produce one of the 4 different endings. But again, the majority of the time, it's almost impossible to know what's the right choice. And furthermore, Stalker 2 emphasizes the player's agency isn't limited to these major story moments, as just about every side quest challenges players' morales, also sometimes giving them a short amount of time to make choice. For instance, I did a side quest where the soldiers had dropped its gun into a ravine, and Knuckles didn't leave it at the post, so he asked me to retrieve it for him. When I did that, he also optioned to give it back to him and telling him that I was going to keep it for myself. I tried both options, and neither one of them resulted in the game making me feel a certain way, but also my choice, which is just a sentiment of to players' power in Stalker 2. As far as major narrative choices go often to come down by players' choices, which faction they will also side with, but still sometimes hard to tell someone choose with the lead to what the outcome is. The narrative of the whole feel is a bit disjointed at times, but fairly common in open world games. Thankfully, there isn't an overwhelming number of side quests, although there are times that seem that initially, so they helps to holding the main story together. However, it is easy to get distracted while exploring the zones because the almost flawless execution of Stalker 2's open world and main narrative can quickly be placed in the back burner, potentially resulting in some temporary concerning that they're currently going into the story. That being said, there is also big enough moments in Stalker 2's story that can also trigger emotional responses, even though some of the games are missing or forgotten. Okay. As far as the gameplay goes, Stalker 2 is not just a faint of heart. Players heading in for the first time should remember that Stalker 2 is a survival horror game, and they also wouldn't have a Fallout VAT system to help them take out the enemies. Most Stalker 2's combat sequences start off as an ambush, so as if players aren't constantly aware of the surroundings they find themselves in, struggling to get foothold in the battle. It's also possible to get jumped and enemies slightly assassinate them by using a knife or silent firearm, but the opportunities are few or far between, plus Stalker 2's firearms just sound so satisfying to use. It's amazing how listening to what he said and then reading what this person's saying, and there couldn't be polar opposite of the stuff, right? A new mutant appears in abilities, the ability where he prepared a counterpart of the bloodsuckers who cloak themselves and let the defeating roar and will temporarily stun. Okay, there's also a major mutants encounter that drained the inventory of med packs and bandages before they fight was over. So, for example, one of the mutants was power, can also be a weapon right out of your hand, then make it unload the entire clip on him. While gear is the main driving force of Stalker 2's progression, players can also acquire various artifacts during the travels and can provide helpful bonuses when they're also used correctly. Unfortunately, these artifacts come with a massive trade-off, because unless players are also equipped to handle the radiation output of the artifact, they will constantly be poisoned and have no choice to drink some alcohol or use anti-radiation kit. That being said, the players also find better gear. They will also be able to equip artifacts, benefits from the bonus, and provide with never feel the effects of the radiation output. Repairs and upgrades in Stalker 2 cost an absurd amount of money, especially considering how much the game weighs. Mechanics limit inventory space that might otherwise use to haul expensive gear back to the vendor and decent buck. In some ways, Stalker 2's gear economy is reminiscent of controversial durability mechanics of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and is a sequel to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Stalker 2 seems like it wants players to regularly replace the gear. Unfortunately, any gear apart from weapons is fairly hard to come by, meaning players will also find it up their armor list, as well as to explore the zones and bankrupt keeping it repaired. When it comes to the technical side of Stalker 2, it seems like most of the bugs I initially encountered were ironed out through the pre-release patches. There was also a massive update just released that might also have worked or even out more dents of the gamer's armor. But that being said, they should also still be present in the final release. Players might also find a challenge to remain immersed in the game world. Some of the bugs encountered range from frustrating to hilarious, like the UI occasionally going transparent after cutscenes, to the soldier urinating through his uniform as walks through the crowd quartered where all eyes were on him. It also encountered a bug where the NPCs would not be positioned where they were supposed to be. During one conversation, the soldier's headphones were floating around, and I assumed that the body was supposed to be, but his body stayed in one place. The camera even continued to track the headphones during the conversations, which also led to believe I was supposed to be looking at the NPCs instead. Unfortunately, with the new paranormal zone, can be also anomalies such as floating headphones, a bit fit right in with the rest of the Stalker 2's strangeness. There's also a point of the playthrough of Stalker 2's story where I was unable to progress. Stop it. Okay? He gave it a 9 out of 10, and he literally just said, in his review, I was unable to progress. What? You can't review the game that you think it's going to be. You have to review the game that you played. There's no way that you just gave it a 9 out of 10 when you couldn't progress. Thinking I must be missing something, I tried every other legitimate route and couldn't imagine, but it was also still prevented from entering this location. I was meant to be in this mission. Fortunately, I was able to carefully make my way back around the location and enter through the back door of Soars, almost venturing off the map to do so. He had to break the game to get into the spot where he was. What are we talking about here? Unfortunately, I was able to carefully make my way back around the location. Okay, from there, I had to guess who I was supposed to talk to, since the objectives initially led me there, never updated once I got inside. However, after completing the mission, the objective was finally updated, and I was able to proceed with the story intended. There was plenty of bugs I encountered during my roughly 55-hour playthrough of Stalker 2, and it was also some of the initial broke my immersion in the game. I felt lessened as I progressed deeper into the story. At around 15-hour mark, I had formed a strange bond with these glitches. Holy Christ. What are we talking about, chat? He basically said, it smells like shit in here, but I got used to the smell of shit, so it was just fine. What are we talking about? I'm done. I'm done reading this because I can't take a guy. I can't take a guy seriously. I can't take someone seriously that can say shit like this in a review and then give it a fucking 9 out of 10. I like reading reviews. Okay? I like reading reviews, giving a person that they give it a good score and a bad score, but what are we fucking talking about? He's like, these things are bad, but I'm just forgetting about these things. No. You're giving a review. You're giving a review. I don't care. You're supposed to tell us, right? Everything in the article seems like there's no problems with the game. And then the things that we are talking about that are bad in the game, he's just like brushing it off. No, that was Game Rant. Yeah, that was Game Rant. Hex says these people play the first 30 minutes and call it a stunning game. 9 out of 10. Insider Gamer gave it a 9 out of 10. Said there's new contender for Game of the Year debate. It's called Stalker 2. PC Gamer gave it an 83 with hilarious jank. The fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about? SkillUp showed the problems in the game. And I get that they had patches and then fixes, and they all played the same version. And he said, well, we're just taking a leap of faith that the latest patch probably fixed all the things that I'm talking about, so it's not a big deal. But after 15 hours of jankiness and broken, buggy game, yeah, I just forgot about it. It's not a big deal. These are the people that are news outlets telling you about a video game that you should purchase for $70. Right? Let's just take Game Pass out of the equation. These are people that are telling you to buy a game at full price. These are liars. Unfucking believable. Now, obviously, I didn't read the other 7, 8 outlets that gave it a 9 out of 10. Okay. Pepsi says these are also the people nominating things for Game Awards. I still don't know how Wuhong is there. Fucking amazing. Rackham and Sackham says you're added. I'm added to what? A list? What's happening? Just so you know, Game Rant gave Black Myth Wukong a 60. Yeah, it's freaking amazing, man. Now, I read that article. I read his review just like anyone would read the review. But when he got to that point saying that 15 hours in, I just got used to the buggy, glitchy game. He literally said there was a point that I couldn't finish the game, and I had to go outside the map to get back in so I could complete it. But it's fine. Bro. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. You can't make this shit up. You would want to make this shit up, but you can't make it up. Oh, I appreciate that, Rack and Sack'em. We do a morning show Monday through Thursday, is what this is, the daily grind. We do live streams in the evening for video games. We do gameplay on this channel. We do podcasts on this channel. We do uploads on this channel. So lots of stuff. So welcome. What are we talking about? Here's one. Someone said Stalker 2 is hardly a perfect game, but the zone still captivates me like no other open world can. It's Windows Central. Jez reposted it, but it's not Jez's article. Here's a article from Ben Wilson from Windows Central on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024's unplayable mess after disastrous and disgraceful launch on Xbox and PC. That is the greatest thing ever. Look at this, right? Look at the pixelation on the plane. It's all like colorful over here. It looks like patches, like a quilt over here. Like, it's. Does he have more pictures? He doesn't have any more pictures. No, he just have actually really good screenshots. I'm not going to go back into a rant of this. If you guys want to hear my rant about Microsoft Flight Sim, it's the very first thing we talk about. Because Microsoft Flight Sim and Xbox Studios and the video game industry has disappointed my 10-year-old son, who all he wanted to do was play a fucking video game. And now they're turning him into his origin story of villainous nature. Okay? Where all he wanted to do was play a video game, and now he can't play a video game. Right? Krebsy says, forget the Xbox tax and the PlayStation tax. This shit is an the devs have it rough tax. Game is broken, buggy mess that I had fun and loved it. 9 out of 10. There. I fixed the review. Fantastic, Jones. Fantastic. I never understood this. I don't understand how people could just be like, yeah, no, everything's fine. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, no, I'm having a blast playing the game. Are you looking? Are you playing the game?
Stop it. Get some help.
Like, what are we talking about? Finally, Jez even says it. Okay? Even Jez says it. Okay? He says, I love Stalker 2, but it has monstrous amounts of bugs and glitches. I recommend waiting for a few patches before diving in. Right? In layman's terms, let me tell you, do not buy the game today. Do not buy this game 5 days from now. Do not buy this game until down the road. You have plenty of games to play. I know you guys have plenty of games to play. Do not reward a company money for a thing that's not done. Do not do it. Starting today, Wario64 announced that streams your own games with xCloud Gaming Beta, available Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members starting today, starting with 50 games. Animal Well, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Balatro, Baldur's Gate 3, Banishers, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, The Casting of Frank Stone, Cyberpunk 2077, Dragon Quest, Dread, Flying Light, Farming Simulator 25, Fear the Spotlight, all the Final Fantasies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14 online, Hades, Harry Potter, Quidditch Championships, High on Life, Hitman World of Assassination, Hogwarts Legacy, House Flipper 2, Kenya Bridge of Spirits, Lego Harry Potter, Life is Strange, Metro Exodus. Go play Metro Exodus. I've never played Metro Exodus myself, but I bet you'd have a better time playing Metro Exodus than you would have of Stalker 2. Okay? Mortal Kombat 1, NBA 2K 25, PGA Tour 23, Phantasmaphobia, Prince of Persia, Rust Console Edition, 7 Days to Die, Star Wars Outlaws, Stray, The Crew Motorfest, The Outlast Trials, The Plucky Squire, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Tom Clancy's Division 2, Topspin 2K25, Undertale, Visions of Mana, Warhammer 40K, Space Marines 2, and WW 2K24. There you go. A lot of games. Look, you can play your games that you already own, like GeForce Now, but from your Xbox. Anywhere. Kenya. Get with the program, Chris. I butcher fucking names all the time. What is that list? Those are the games, 50 games that are coming. If you own any of those games, you can now play those across Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Basically, it's remote play. Anywhere you want. On your television set, on your mobile phone, in a house, in a box. $25% off Star Wars Outlaws for the first time on Ubisoft Store during Black Friday sale. Yeah, on a boat. In a box with a cat with a hat. See what else is going on here. We're scrolling through the Twitterverse here. Can I tell you, I'm either laughing at Twitter. Oh, you know what? I should probably do this just in case there's something bad on Twitter, because you never know. Someone can get murdered on Twitter, and it's up there. PC Gamer gave it an 83 for Stalker 2. I forgot to switch back over. Yeah, I never scroll, Dolphin. If you see me scrolling on Twitter, you're like, this guy's got some balls. Yeah, I try not to ever scroll. Do you know why, though, Ghost Fixer? That there's more games now than ever before coming out broke, buggy, and unfinished on day one? Is because people keep buying broke, buggy games on day one. Right? The message is sent, right? If you take your hand and you put it on a stove that's hot, right? You touch the stove, it sends a signal up to your brain, and your brain says, hey, move the fucking hand off the stove, because you're getting burned, right? And some people, their brain doesn't connect. And they're like, oh, my hand's burning, right? But you're like, oh, right? And then from that point forward, you're like, you know what? I'm never going to touch the stove again, because that one time I got burned. For some strange reason, the video game population, okay? It's got to be the majority, okay? Have burned their hand on multiple games. They buy a game for an absorbent amount of money of $70, $80, $90, $100, $110, $120, $130, okay? And they get burned. They get a broken, buggy, unfinished game. The company signals that. They're like, hand, we're the hand, right? People buy the game, and it sends a signal to the company, hey, we got some suckers over here that they broke a broken, buggy game. They're like, it's all right. The next game that comes out, let's just go ahead and put that out because they bought the last game. Did you see them buy that other game that was broke? Let's see if we can send out. It's not ready yet, but don't worry. Majority of the people don't care. Let's put it out there. And they're like, hey, look, we're making money. We're making money. We're making the money from the game that's not finished yet. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute. No one's buying our game. Why? Why is no one buying the game? Oh, they must be racist. It's because of this in the game. That's why they're not buying the game. Not because it's broke. Not because it's unfinished. Not because it's buggy or glitchy. Not because it's incomplete and they're going to fix it over the next 12 or 18 months. Nope. Because there's something in the game that they don't like. And let's just forget that. It's because they're racist, sexist, misogynistic. It has nothing to do with the actual game being broke, buggy, or unfinished. Right? And they're like, let's just keep doing it. So the next game comes out, and the next game comes out, and the next game comes out. And everyone's like, oh, I'm sorry. We're so sorry. We hear you. We're fixing it. It's the patch day 1. Look at Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws didn't come out complete. Skull and Bones didn't come out complete. Battlefield 2042 didn't come out complete. Cyberpunk didn't come out complete. I could go on and on and on. These games, some of them made a shit ton of money, and they took their time fixing it. And the other ones didn't make any money, and they fixed it ASAP. It's amazing how that works.
Oh, where I land, I do not know. But here I fall down the rabbit's hole.
Little rant there. Oh, my God. I hope my son can come home today and play the goddamn game. I really do. But that's also not a good thing, though, right, Ghost? I know you're saying it's very true, and glad I don't pay for the game at launch. Game Pass saves a lot of money that way. Right, but that also doesn't make the signal still the same. The signal's still the same. Because all Xbox looks at is, let's say you already have Game Pass, but then Flight Sim comes out, you have Game Pass, you already paid for it, and now you play Microsoft Flight Sim. That counts as, okay, well, this person has Game Pass, and they're playing our brand new game. It's broken, buggy, but they're still playing it. That says a signal. That says the signal to them going, it doesn't matter if it's broke or buggy, they're still engaging with it. They're still engaging with it. Stalker 2 is on Game Pass. You're playing it, you're engaging with it. They're like, oh, well, this percentage of people are just playing it. Look, they don't care about the bugs and glitches. The difference between Game Pass and games that you're purchasing is don't buy the games for the full price and wait for them to get fixed, and then don't play the brand new games that come out on Game Pass because they're broke. You see what I'm saying? They're keeping stats of everything. So if people start playing the brand new game that comes out and they're just enjoying it, they're going to be like, see, mid-tier game, broken, buggy, and people are enjoying it. But if you don't play it, they're like, well, what's the problem? Why aren't people playing it? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It doesn't make the problem better. For you personally, sure, because you're not blowing $70 to try that game. You're already paying the $20 a month for whatever reason. If it's for you, if it's for your kid, if it's for extra games on the system. But it still sends the signal to them. If I play that game, they're like, oh look, they engage with it. They like it. If no one bought the game or played the game day one, I guarantee you they would have a fix within 2 days. But if an absorbent amount of people play the game, they'll be like, oh, look, they're just enjoying the game. We'll get to it like next month. Let me see. Rackham says, with the people that are not standing up, companies will always take advantage. I get you. Absolutely. And here's the thing, Rack. When I play a game and show, because I'm a content creator, and I play a game like Outlaws, I enjoyed Outlaws. But I let people know what the criticism is about Outlaws and what was the problem with the Outlaws. And then there'll be people that defend it and say, oh, it's a perfect game. It was fantastic. And I tell people, don't do this. Wait. Just wait. Nothing happens if you wait. You save money. You save time. Right? And you can go enjoy something else you've already paid for. Right? Me complaining and standing up for people, I want the same thing you do. I want a good game. I want a good game. Let me go to, what is it, the game card? Official club. Where did my son... He found a bunch of Where do you go? Chat, where do you go? He showed me a bunch of pictures yesterday. He went to the Microsoft Flight Sim and people were taking pictures and sharing and whatnot. Where do you go for that? To see screenshots and whatnot. Yeah, here you go. Perfect example. I found it. I found some. Where is it? Yeah, look, I'm sure it's fine. Oh, come on now. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. Don't worry about it. Enjoy your game in the invisible jet from Wonder Woman. Enjoy your game. I get Flight Sim so I can play the game. I'm sure it's fine, right? Let me get to the next one. Hold on. Let me get to a good one here. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Like, that's just Minecraft over there. He's leaving the world to go to Minecraft. Right? He's fine. Fine. There was one he showed me yesterday. And of course, it's not here now. Like, all the buildings were just... Oh, here it is. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure there's no problems. Working as intended. Yeah? I think it's fine. No problems here, guys. Please keep giving money to the companies that give you the products. Altered says, I gotta buy it. Devs need my support. I need to support the devs. No matter if the game doesn't work, I don't want them to get fired. Minecraft is now in Flight Sim. Yeah. 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 Ghost Fixter says, imagine playing it while high on it. You're like, this is the greatest fucking game. I am tripping balls and I'm seeing things, and then your friend walks in and goes, no, that's the game. I think you got bad shit because that's on the screen automatically. I can see it. I'm sober. I can see the same shit you're seeing. No, man, I see the colors. I see the colors. I see the colors, man. Oh, such good shit. No, that's just the game. It's just the game. Amazing chat. Another amazing morning. It's like my therapy sessions. I appreciate you guys. It's my therapy session in the mornings to vent a little bit of the industry. If you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live streams, uploads, podcasts. Tonight, we usually do on Wednesdays, we do a show with Sarge called Shooting the Shit with Sarge. We just play video games and banter back and forth. That's not on tonight. Tonight, I got Greg Owen, who was a guest on our Chatting With podcast about 2 months ago. He's coming back on the show. We're going to catch up with Greg and talk about some gaming news, gaming topics and whatnot. Just bullshitting with Greg tonight on Chatting With. That's at 8 p.m. tonight. So if you like a podcast, you like conversation, come on back tonight for the Chatting With podcast. If you don't like that type of stuff, come back tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, the Daily Grind, what we did here this morning, we'll do again with different stories and different topics. And then tomorrow night, we end the week with Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. We do appreciate you very much. You guys have a great rest of your day, afternoon, or evening, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.